వస్తుందా ఫోన్ లో బాగుస్తుంది మంచిగా వస్తుంది యువర్ లైఫ్ hello students, welcome back to Ekam IS Academy. This is the D day for the students preparing for civil services examination. Most of you would have completed your paper. You may be out of the examination hall. In the initial 10-15 minutes, I'll give a brief introduction of how the paper was. Because of the paucity of time, I had written down all the questions, number of questions and all on the board. As expected, once again, it has been proved that these four are the pillars of prelims examination. We keep on telling in the classroom also, polity, history, economy and geography. If you can master these four, 60 to 65 questions do come from this domain only. If you could see 28 here, 38 and 6, 44, 54 and 8, around 62 questions come once again from the core part of our learning, which is the pillared subject of polity, history, economy and geography. So polity, this time we got 18 questions, little higher than the last time. Again history got 16 questions, again little higher than the last time. If we compare with 2024 prelims paper, we got 15, little lesser than what we got in the 2024 paper. And geography we got 14 questions this time, again little lesser than the last year comparatively. Okay, then the international relations and internal security, this time the number of questions being asked from the core subject of IR and internal security have reduced drastically. This time collectively from both the topics we have got around 8 questions only, and those 8 questions, the difficulty level was, I talked about it. Environment and ecology, connecting with geography in somewhere and connecting with current affairs also in somewhere, around 10 questions were asked. This time science and technology took the lead. It was expected lines because a lot of work has been done in the last around 1.5 year in this domain. As expected, science and technology got 15 questions, much higher than what we saw last time. And 5 questions came from events like chess game, like some awards related, and also certain miscellaneous topics which are generally not taught as part of UPSC preparation. So this is how overall 100 questions appeared. Coming to the difficulty level, the polity paper was primarily easier, straight from the NCERTs and textbooks as well combination. In this 18 questions, around 4 to 5 questions came directly from the NCERTs, and the remaining came from our what you call the famous book that all of us read, Lakshmikant for Prelims. Coming to the difficulty level, the polity questions were easy. 80% of those questions which came in polity were easy. 10% little difficult, little medium difficulty, and 10% difficulty. Why this actually difficulty of medium and higher difficulty level is, they have used the language of the law this time to define the statements in the options. So that is the reason why it became little difficult for the students. And also more interpretative questions were given. Straight dimensional, only one line based questions were drastically reduced. I feel this paper is considerably lengthy from the general parlance because most of the questions were statement based. Coming back to history, we had around 16 questions coming from history, mostly from NCERTs and the standard textbooks. If you have revised your class notes maybe 2 to 3 times before you sat in the examination, I am sure you would be able to get almost all of them correct, because they were mostly direct and straight from the textbooks, most of them, barring around 20-25%, which came in the combination of medium difficulty to higher difficulty level. So this is how the history questions, but more or less willy-nilly from 70 to 75%, the questions were generally easy. Then coming to our economy subject, though I have written 70% easy, it would actually not be a correct estimate. Is they have picked up questions not from the general domain what they asked. if you ask me personally, I would like to keep it 50 to 60% alone easy. Little difficulty got added because they either linked it with the international relations or they linked it with the domain what we call as world economy. So ila questions combination level lo difficulty gaane vachai, and higher difficulty level I would give 20% of the questions came little higher from the dimensions which are generally not taught as part of UPSC economy paper preparation. I can say a few questions came from the pattern of how the questions are asked by institutions like NABARD and Reserve Bank of India. Ikkada koncham the difficulty level of the questions got increased, and again 10% were medium questions where the linkage with current affairs was to be established. Okay. Then coming to geography from the core, many questions came from the NCRTs and the standard textbooks generally the students who follow. Almost 70 to 80% questions. If you can keep your mind cool in the examination hall and give the attempt, you can get 70 to 80% of the questions correctly. And the level is around 10%, to difficulty level is also around 10%. So that is how the difficulty level of medium and this thing got combined in the geography subject that we saw. Coming to international relations and internal security, I personally feel the domain what we generally teach as part of the syllabus given by the UPSC, the UPSC now wants the student to know everything probably happening in the world perspective, whether India's interest is involved there or not. So this particular section I feel was the most difficult in the today's paper, which that's why I have given 40% in the easy and I have put 40% in the difficult and 20% in the medium difficulty level. So this is how the division of this particular paper is there, right? Then coming to environment ecology, few questions were interlinking with geography also, and few questions were interlinking with international relations also. Maybe in our calculation, which is environment ecology, which is core IR, we may falter in one odd question here and there. So please spare us for that. But environment ecology, what I could understand from the first look of the paper, because I did go through all the questions one by one, but it was a very quick review. So, but I feel 55 to 60% of environment ecology were primarily from the chapters that are taught to the students as part of regular learning. Yes, 20% were medium difficulty and the remaining 20% were a little higher difficulty level. This is what I felt in my first visit. But this was a sweet surprise, not a hard surprise. Science and technology, 15 to 16 questions came from science and technology. I felt the knowledge of science was included in framing the questions. It was not pure current affairs or something. This is where probably UPSC is wanting you to get into the brass tags of how to study this subject. Initially, the UPSC wants you to study the basics first, then go into the current affairs. That's where I have given 30% as medium difficulty and 20% as difficulty level is higher than the medium level. And around 5 questions came from awards and other events type of questions came, which is expected 3 to 4 questions every year. Schemes and events and awards based, around 5 questions have come. So this is how, friends, this is how, students, the paper is laid out. But as I said, most of the paper was, once again, what UPSC has told us very firmly is that this is how the importance of revision is re-established. Generally, what happens is most of the students try to go for these questions. This is where they unnecessarily complicate their preparation. If you concentrate on this pillar of today's explanation, trust me, crossing 100 would not have been a challenge to any student. But what we generally tend to do is we try to harp upon the medium difficulty and the higher difficulty level. And as I keep on telling year after year, where I keep on telling that these are the 4 pillars of your what you call prelims preparation, the polity, history, economy and geography, revise, revise, re-revise and again re-revise. So this is how we will try to understand how easy, or I may not use the word easy, how simple it becomes to crack the prelims examination once you bring a dimension of revision into your strategy for UPSC preparation. What we'll do immediately is I'll open up the paper. The polity questions I would discuss with you so that we can, what our paper discussion as such. Okay. So this is how the layout of the paper was according to me. This was a very quick, what do you call, analysis I did. Maybe here and there I may be wrong either in the placing the question, whether it was a core geography or environment question, and also could be in the difficulty level. Some questions I would have felt, because I've been teaching few subjects for long period of time, maybe that question appears easy to me, maybe for you it may be a little difficult. So in that sense, maybe I would have committed a mistake here and there in placing the question in easy, medium or difficulty level. Okay. Notwithstanding that, a paper generally the students review, because some of our faculties had gone to the center also. The students are expecting that the cutoff may be around again 85 to 95 or maybe 95 to 100 also. This is what the expectations of students is. Last year it was around 87, 88 marks, because the nature of questions what I could see this time, I think UPSC is again trying to touch that 100 figure in the cutoff, because last 2 years it was less than 100, but this year I feel definitely the cutoff should touch minimum 88 to 90 this time is what I expect after seeing this question paper in the first glance at least, right? Coming to the difficulty level, in the when I say difficulty level, the lengthiness of the paper, fairly lengthy in the sense the sentences have been framed long in the options, so it will force you to reread that sentence before you come to the final answer. So in that perspective, there is a possibility that you may face that the time was not sufficient. Not all of the students, but some of them could have faced this situation where they would have felt that the time was at premium in this GS paper 1. Okay. So now what we'll do is we will open the paper and then we'll try to see how the polity questions had come. I also could not get time to detailedly see through it. I will also try my best to, what you call, analyze the paper in front of you. Sir, light settings konjam chuskondi, because I need to download it right into PDF. PDF we can yeah, PDF right. నోట్ లో పెట్టేద్దామా PDF? పర్వాలేదు, లెటర్ కనిపించడం అవసరం. ఇంపోర్ట్
import.
ఓకే. సార్ ఒక్క సెకండ్ ఆ పేపర్ తెప్పిస్తారా? విజయ్ సార్ కా పేపర్ ఇవ్వమని చెప్పండి. This is what we are doing D, no? I basically want A. ఒకసారి సాయికి చెప్పి ఏ పేపర్ కూడా స్కాన్ చేయండి చెప్పండి. క్వశ్చన్ నంబర్స్ అటు ఇటు.
మీరు ఇది చూస్తూ
క్వశ్చన్ నంబర్ నాట్ డి, నాట్ దిస్ పేపర్. ఏ వచ్చిందా సార్? చేస్తున్నారా స్కాన్? తొందరగా पेपर ए सर स्कैन लेके गए आपके पास से? तो P1 मेरे को आगे का है उसका
लास्ट क्वेश्चन है, लिख के दे दो इसमें।
दे दो. हाँ लाइव. हाँ गांधी पीस प्राइज ये क्या है?
इनकरेक्ट 93 वो क्वेश्चन पेपर का है,
ले गया
ले गया।
क्या? वो बाद में दे देना कागज में.
एक मिनट ये ओनली
93 का
आपका हो गया। देखो पॉलिटी का, चलो
हाँ టైం పడుతుందా సాయి? తొందర టైం లేదు నాకు, అక్కడ పెట్టాలి నువ్వు పేపర్ మీద తొందరగా. అండ్ ఇది ఎన్లార్జ్ అవ్వట్లేదు సార్.
అంటే ఇది మీకు ఎక్కడ వరకు కావాలో అది
హలో, అందులో కానీ కనిపిస్తుందా మీకు? స్క్రీన్లో చూడండి ఒకసారి. ఇస్ ఇట్ విజిబుల్ ఆన్ ద స్క్రీన్? జస్ట్ సీ. విల్ పుట్ ది
సిస్టంలో తెలుస్తుంది కానీ ఫోన్లో తెలియదు.
ఫోన్లో కనిపించట్లేదా? మరి ఎలా? ఓపెన్ చేసి దాంట్లో అనోటేషన్స్ చేయొచ్చా మనము? చేయొచ్చు కదా. చేసుకో. తొందరగా సాయికి ఏమని చెప్పండి. Just 5 minutes, students. We are getting the A key, PDF made. Just give us a minute. Mail చేయమ్మా. సాయి మెయిల్ చేయమ్మా. అయిపోయిందా? నాకు మెయిల్ పెట్టు. Yeah, students, before the paper comes in hard copy to us, I am seeing set A paper with me. The paper that I have with me is the set A paper, where we are taking question number 51 is where the polity has started. It says, with reference to the Indian polity, consider the following statement. The first statement reads, an ordinance can amend any central act. What does this say? The ordinance can amend any central act. So this is where we need to see what is it trying to say. An ordinance, statement A says, an ordinance can amend any central act. If you are a student of polity, you would have studied polity, we know on the face of it, this is a correct statement. Second is, an ordinance can abridge a fundamental right. An ordinance can abridge a fundamental right. We all know Article 13 of the Indian Constitution, Article 13 of the Indian Constitution does not permit this. What does it mean? Statement B is a wrong statement. An ordinance can come into effect from a bad date. An ordinance can come into effect from a bad date. We know this is a possibility because there is something known as retrospective effect. There is something known as retrospective effect. So this retrospective effect is allowed in civil domain. So that is how an ordinance can come into effect from a back date. This would be a right statement. So in that case, our answer to this question should be 1 and 3, that is option C should be your answer. So option C becomes your right answer here. As we know, an ordinance which is passed by the President of India can amend any central act, and the ordinance cannot abridge the fundamental right because Article 13 of our Constitution says that any act or legislation that goes against the fundamental rights or tries to abridge the fundamental right, it becomes constitutionally null and void. So in that scenario, the second statement stands wrong and the correct option should be option C. Very fairly easy level question is what I would call it. From the polity perspective, this particular question number 51 is fairly an easy question. Okay? Now, what I'll do is, because I have got the copy of what we call it, the that only, sir.
మామూలుగా ఇందాక
We got the key A paper. So let's open the set A directly in the PDF.
లేదు సార్.
Aindra? No, I don't think so. Okay, now we have got hold of this paper in PDF format. So let's go to the respective question that we were doing. This is a set A, students. This is what I am trying to open up. Is the set A? Yeah. Is this the set A paper? No. This is the set B paper. We again opened the wrong paper. Yeah, this is downloading now. Yeah, this is the set A paper. Yeah, this was a paper that we were actually, looking into. Is that an ordinance can come into effect from a back date is a right statement, and an ordinance can amend any central law is also a right statement, but an ordinance can abridge a fundamental right. As we saw, this is a wrong statement. Okay, ప్రదీప్ గారు కొంచెం లైట్ అడ్జస్ట్ చేయొచ్చా మనము?
అంటే మనకి
చూడండి ఇప్పుడు ఇన్ ది ప్రెసెంట్ కంటెక్స్ట్ ఇప్పుడు
ఫోన్ లో కూడా కనిపిస్తుంది లెటర్స్ అయితే కనపడుతుంది
కనిపిస్తున్నాయా? Okay, then we'll go to the question number, what we call 52 is what we are seeing. Question number 52, sorry. Question number 52 is what we are seeing. Okay, question number 52 is what we are seeing. Arunachal Pradesh. It says that the capital is named after a fort and the state has two national parks. First statement is what? The state is named after a fort. If you know Arunachal Pradesh capital is Itanagar. Ita, I-T-A. Ita means brick in Assamese. Ita means brick in Assamese. So it is named after a fort in Arunachal Pradesh. So this is a right statement, and Pradesh state does have two national parks. So the statement one is a right statement according to me. Okay. Then the second statement says Nagaland. The second statement says Nagaland, the state came into existence on the basis of a constitutional amendment act. This is what it says, that the state came into existence on the basis of a constitutional amendment act, and we know it was the 13th constitutional amendment act. So our statement 2, that is Nagaland, is correct, and Tripura initially it became a centrally administered territory with the recognition of the state in 1956 and later attained the full statehood state. We know that it was a Part C state. We know before 1956, few states were given the status of Part C states which were directly governed by the union. So the statement is correct, and it got statehood in 1972. Tripura, very, very important. If you know the history of Tripura also, 1959 is when we signed the merger agreement with Tripura. 1959. If you know the history of Tripura also, Tripura from 1947 till 1959 was kind of an independent what you call territory. So 59 we signed the instrument of accession with them, and 72 it became a proper state. Okay, 1972, right? When you know the Tripura region, the Maharani regent of Tripura had signed. So this is how our correct answer here will be. The three options are correct. Okay. Now come to another question. With reference to India, consider the following statements: the Interstate Council, the National Security Council, and the Zonal Council. These are the three things that he is asking us to consider. Let us see what is the demand of the question. It says how many of the above established as per the provisions of India. So we know the Interstate Council was established under Article 263 of the Constitution. Interstate Council, Article 263 of the Constitution. Okay, this is one important dimension. National Security Council, we know that the NSC is headed by the National Security Advisor, and the National Security Advisor is the head, and the NSC is primarily an executive body and not a constitutional body. So that is the reason why the answer for the second statement is not a constitutional body. And when it comes to the zonal councils in the third option, aware that zonal councils were established under the 1956, after the 1956 State Reorganization Act. They were established under the State Reorganization Act. So this is where I think the zonal councils are also not a constitutional body. Established as a constitutional body is what the statement is asking. Established under the State Reorganization Act 1956. So in my opinion, the correct answer should be the Interstate Council alone. That should be the option A. The answer should be option A according to me. Okay. Then next question, question number 54. It says that consider the following statements. What are the statements? The Constitution of India explicitly mentions that in certain spheres the governor of a state acts in his or her own discretion. We know this. The governor office was in news, very much in news. People were talking about it according to, because the article 200 was in news very much, and we know the governor does have an explicit authority on matters related to reserving a bill for the president. So this is where reserving a bill for the president. So this is where the first statement according to me is a right statement, and also the explicit authority is mentioned in Article 163 subsection 1 of the Constitution as well. So this is how, this is one important statement which is a correct statement directly from the book. They have not even amended anything, just a cut copy paste of the statement. Then the President of India can of his or her own reserve a for his or her consideration without it being forwarded by the governor of a state concerned. No, we can invoke Article 200 here as well. This is a wrong statement because it is the governor's discretion and not the discretion of the president upon himself to reserve a bill passed by the state legislature for his or her consideration. So definitely 54 is a wrong state. The second statement is a wrong statement. This is a right statement. So the answer should be option 1 only. And I am sure most of you would have got this answer right. Why? Because the moment you say state legislature and president direct correct, it is understood that it is a wrong statement. Okay? Now, question number, sorry. Question number 55. Question number 55. Let us see what this question number 55 is talking about. Question number 55. No, the eraser has to be. Okay, let's continue. No problem. Question number 55. One side provision in the Constitution of India. Second is stated under the separation of judiciary from the executive in the public services of the state is under the directive principles of state policy. If I remember, Article 50 subsection A. This should be your answer. Article 50 subsection A is the directive principles that is talking about separating the judiciary from the executive in the public services of the state, it is a right statement. And when we talk about fundamental duties, we talk about Article 51A, which talks about the fundamental duties. And one of the fundamental duties does have valuing and preserving of the rich heritage of our composite culture. So this is the fundamental duties we all know incorporated under the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, right, 1976. So this is how one fundamental duty talks about preserving the rich heritage and our composite culture. 51A subsection F, if I am right, talks about this responsibility of every citizen to uphold this fundamental duty. So this is also a right statement. The first one being right, the second one also right. Now, prohibition of employment of children below the age of 14 years in factories. If you remember, Article 24 talks about this. Article 24 talks about this provision which prohibits the employment of children below the age of 14 years. Correspondingly, if you know, we also talk about 21A, fundamental rights, where we talk about right to education for the children from the age group of 6 to 14 years. So that is how this statement is also a right statement. So what answer should be your option C. For the students who have just joined us, we are doing the polity key of set A. Of the set A is what we are doing the polity key now, students. Okay? Now, moving ahead to the next question. Question number 56 is what we are doing now. Question number 56. Consider the following statements. With reference to the Constitution of India, if an area in a state is declared as scheduled area under the 5th schedule, we know there are two areas, schedule 5 and schedule 6. We talk about these two schedules. What is the statement saying? The state government loses its executive power in such areas and a local body assumes total administration. See, this cannot happen in a federal system that India has, where the state government loses its executive power in such area. So according to me, this should be a wrong statement. And it also says the local body assumes total administration. It is not so. We know schedule 5 and schedule 6, there are certain list of what you call activities where the local bodies attain certain amount of autonomy. So this is how it is not a total administrative control on the local body. It is basically on the items listed where these bodies get the what you call privilege to rule upon. So the first statement according to me is a wrong statement. Then the union government can take over the total administration of such areas under certain circumstances when the recommendation of the governor is there. So this is where he is talking about the union government taking over the total administration of such areas under certain circumstances on the recommendations of the governor. If you have read the provisions related to the 5th schedule in detail, you would understand there is no such provision clearly demarcated or clearly mentioned in that 5th schedule. So this is also a wrong statement, and according to me the answer to this question should be option D, neither one nor two, because he is asking which of the following statements given above is or are correct. So what is the answer to this question? The answer is answer D, because none of the above are the correct. Okay? Now, this is purely, though it is being, I am trying to talk about this in the what you call polity section, but we cannot say that it is a pure polity question because it is placed in between the polity questions. So that I thought I will what you call deal with this particular question. Now, the National Automotive Board, which ministry it comes under, and the name of the organization is what they are asking. This is one question which a student may not expect, because this is related to covering the current affairs basically. That is the reason why it is being asked like that. Okay, just give me a second, let me have a sip of water, my throat is getting dry. Yeah. Now, question number 57. The National Automotive Board. If you are following the current affairs related to Ministry of Heavy Industries, you would know that the National Automotive Board comes under the administrative control of the Ministry of Heavy Industries. Then the Coir Board of India, the Coir Board comes under the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, and not the Ministry of Heavy Industries. And lastly, the National Center for Trade Information is basically under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So in this, the match the following what they have given, all the options have been incorrectly matched. So because they are asking how many of them are correctly, the answer is none of the above. That is, D should be our correct option, because none of the options have been correctly marked in this match the following questions. Okay, so this is our question number 57. Coming to question number 58, what it says, question number 58, and we are seeing set A paper for the students who would have joined live now. This is a set A that we are doing, and we are doing the polity paper. Now what it says, consider the following subjects under the Constitution of India. Consider the following subjects under the Constitution of India. What is the first one? The list 1, union list in the 7th schedule, extent of the executive power of a state, and conditions of the governor's office. These are the three, what you call, statements given, noting what you call statement that they are asking. Let us see what is the supporting statement that they are asking. For a constitutional amendment with respect to which of the above ratification by the legislatures of legislature of not less than one of the state, one half of the state is required before the presenting the bill to the President of India, is what the question talks about, which is question number 57. Question number 57. 1 second. Sorry. One is question number related to, sorry, extent of the executive power of a state, then conditions of the governor's office is what they are talking. Okay. Now, according to the 7th schedule, if you read the 7th schedule, anything if you want in the 7th schedule, we know that the 50% of the states have to accord their approval with a simple majority. Okay, and the extent of the executive power of the state, anything related to state that you are doing, then definitely in that scenario also, other than the majority, special majority of the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, you need the simple majority of the 50% states and above also. So this is also a right statement. This is also a right statement. The conditions of the governor's office, this is not included in the list of basic activities where the assent of 50% of the state is needed. So the answer to this question should be statement 1 and statement 2. Statement 1 and statement 2. Let's see statement 1 and statement 2. So the answer should be the answer A here. Answer should be answer A here. Okay. Now next question number 59. Question number 59, again straightforward from the chapter governor, state government law chapter on governor office. Straight question from the textbook. With reference to the Indian polity, consider the following statements. What are the statements? First, the governor of a state is not answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the powers and duties of his or her what you call office. Question number 59. Okay. So we know that this is a right statement. The governor cannot be questioned in any court of law on the functions that he or she performs as a matter of holding the power as governor of a state. So the first statement is the right statement. Proceedings shall be instituted or continued against the governor during his or her term of office. We know that this is the impunity that is provided to the office of the governor, and no criminal proceedings can be initiated against the governor. This is what we know about the office of the governor. If you want me to state the articles also, corresponding article 361 subsection 1 is related to the first statement. 361 article subsection 2 is related to the second statement, and the third statement that we would read: members of a state legislature are not liable to any proceedings in any court in respect of anything said within the house. So this is what is also a right statement. If you remember the article 194 subsection 2, this is what we call it as what we call collective privilege. This is the collective privilege of the house, that in the state legislature nobody can be questioned in the for speaking anything that what you call individual would have spoken while addressing the house in the state legislature. So this is how the correct answer to this particular question should be option number D. 1, 2 and 3, all the statements are correct. So 59th question also we have successfully completed. Question number 60 is what you call not related to what we call polity, so we will not get into it, but because it is asking about a regulatory board, sorry, because it is asking about a regulatory board, petroleum and natural gas regulatory board. Now let's see the question statement. Let's try to answer this question. Consider the following activities: production of crude oil. One is the statement. Second, refining, storage and distribution of petroleum, marketing and sale of petroleum products, and lastly, production of natural gas. Let's see the statement. How many of the above activities are regulated by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board in our country? If you know, and lastly, there is option 4, production of natural gas. This one option I am not clear, but option 2 and 3 are definitely regulated according to me. The option 2 and 3 are definitely regulated, and the production of crude oil does not come under the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board in our country. Option D, production of natural gas, as far as my knowledge goes, this is also a wrong statement. So the correct option to this question should be option 2 according to me. I may be wrong in this question because I have not very clear idea about production of the natural gas. So you can have a look, because it is not a core subject, because it came along. So I try to talk about this particular question. Okay. Then comes question number Yeah. Question number 86 is our next question. So we'll have to rush through few pages. Question number 86. 86. Yeah, we have come to this question. Question number 86. Yeah, I hope you can see it much clearer now. For the students who have joined just now, we are dealing with the polity questions as we saw the paper today, and I am taking the polity. Today we are doing question number 86. Okay, question number 86. Let me have a sip of water. ఐదు కమెంట్స్ ఏమైనా వస్తున్నాయా పిల్లలు కమెంట్స్ ఏమైనా పెడుతున్నారా చూడండి ఎనీ కమెంట్స్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆర్ ఆస్కింగ్ ఇఫ్ ఎట్ ఆల్ దే ఆర్ ఆస్కింగ్ నో కమెంట్స్ రైట్ ఓకే ఫైన్ చలో లెట్స్ గో హెడ్ క్వశ్చన్ నంబర్ 86 what is the statement consider the following statements with regard to the pardoning power of the President of India. We all know the President of India has been accorded certain special judicial powers, and within the domain of judicial powers, the President has certain pardoning powers for the crimes committed under the Central Act. So this is where the pardoning power of the President comes. Okay? Now, the exercise of this power by the President can be subjected to limited judicial review. Now, if you have studied the statement related to the pardoning power of the President of India, we all know that it is generally not subjected to judicial review, but there is a small catch given. It says that if it appears to the Supreme Court that this exercise of this pardoning power of the President of India, if it is arbitrary, then the judiciary can spring into action and put a break on that. So we can say that this power of the President does have limited judicial. To me, the first statement is a right statement. Second question, the President can exercise this power without the advice of the central government. This is a wrong statement. Many of you would know this. The President, while exercising his or her right with respect to exercising the pardoning power, the President is bound by the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers headed by the Prime Minister. So this is how this particular statement is an incorrect statement. So according to me, the 86th answer should be one only. Some of the student has chosen option C, but probably he did not understand this concept of limited judicial review. So this is where kept as a check on the President so that no arbitrary decision is taken primarily which is politically motivated. Why? Because after recently there was a call for what you call giving pardoning power to certain Khalistani militants who were involved in the death of Indira Gandhi. So this is where the pardoning power was gaining some traction, and also it was in news related to few convicts of Rajiv Gandhi also seeking this or getting that. So that is how this pardoning power of the President of India was in news in the last 6 to 8 months. So it was expected lines that the UPSC may ask a question to our students. So a simple and a easy question according to me, but I don't know why this student missed out on this simple question. Yeah. Now coming to the next question. The question is little bigger, so I will try to reduce the size of the question. If you are finding it difficult to read, I would suggest you can zoom in your screen for reading this particular question. Question number 87. Question number 87. It is talking about Yeah. Question number 87 is primarily related to the office of our speaker. The question is primarily related to the office of our speaker. What it says? Statement 1. On the dissolution of the House of the People. I'll do one thing. I'll move this paper little to the right. If it goes, I don't know. No, it's not going. So we'll go back to our original position. Yes. Yeah. What is the question here? On the dissolution of the House of the People, the Speaker shall not vacate his or her office until immediately before the first meeting of the House of the People after the dissolution. If you have read the Union Parliament, this statement you would know it is picked up straight from the textbook and put as a question here, and that it is a right statement. Why? Because there is lot of administrative function that the speaker continues to do even when the particular political party is not in power. So that is the reason why the speaker does not relinquish his or her office and continues to hold office and continue certain administrative functions which are of nature in the parliament. So that is the reason why you will not see that the speaker relinquishing his or her office immediately on the dissolution of the house. So the first statement is a correct statement. The second statement, it says that according to the provisions of the Constitution of India, a member of the House of the People, on being elected as a speaker, shall resign from his or her political party immediately. Again, this particular statement has been directly picked up from the textbook and it has been kept in the question paper, and almost all of you know that this practice is not there in India. So we, in our Indian constitutional framework, it does not speak about the resignation of the office of speaker after he is elected as the speaker. This is one of the reforms that the political consultants or the political experts are asking for many years now. Because what happens is, in fact, recently also you would have seen in Rajya Sabha also there were a lot of issues raised against the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, the vice president of India. So there has been a request for many years now that the office of the speaker should be made apolitical. What is the meaning of the word apolitical? That he or she should not show any allegiance to any political party after he assumes the leadership position. Not there. So the second statement is a wrong statement. Then the third statement, the Speaker of the House of the People may be removed from his or her office by a resolution of the House of the People passed by a majority of all the then members of the House, provided that no resolution should be moved unless at least 14 days notice has been given of the intention to remove the resolution. As we all know, this is again picked up straight from the textbook, and the answer or the statement is a correct statement. So the answer to this question should be 1 and 3. If you are intelligent enough, you would have eliminated option D and option A naturally, because this option 2 was present here. So understand this. From this perspective, you can say, in fact, option B also could have been eliminated. A very easy question where the option would come so naturally to you that the correct answer should be answer C. The correct answer should be what? Answer C here. Okay. Then question number 87 we have covered. Now we move to question number 88. Let us see how this question number 88 is placed for us. Question number 88. For the students who have joined just now, we are trying to solve the polity related questions of set A of a 2025 prelims examination. In the initial itself, I told you this year the polity, like last year as well, the polity paper came very easy paper. Okay? And in fact, yesterday also, while speaking to my students, because some of I told them 80 to 90% of the questions will come from part 1, 2, 3 and 4 of Lakshmikant, I told them to revise this part, and in the paper today almost 90% of the questions came from these 4 parts only. So this is how you get benefited if you analyze the previous year question papers. We keep on telling the students, once your foundation is over, it is always advisable to sit down and analyze your paper to understand what way the questions can be asked next year. Okay? So notwithstanding them, this is not the time to lecture all of you, but surely someday I will also tell you how to analyze the previous year question papers as well. Okay? Now coming back to our question number 88. Question number 88. 88, yeah. Okay, question number 88. What is this question? If any question arises as to whether a member of the House of the People has become subject to disqualification under the 10th schedule, we know the 10th schedule is related to anti-defection. Anti-defection. Sir, Vijay sir. Anti-defection. The President decision in accordance with the opinion of the Council of Union Ministers shall the President's decision with opinion of the Council of Union of Ministers shall be final. We know that when it comes to the anti-defection, it is primarily the opinion of the Speaker of the House and not the President of India. Disqualification. Okay?
Political parties. There is no mention of political party in Constitution of India. There is no mention of political party.
When we talk about the second statement, that there is no mention of the word, as I told you, this is not the president's decision. If you have read this chapter, it is primarily the speaker who talks about this. And now so the first statement should be a wrong statement, because when we talk about this 10th schedule, it is purely the speaker who is the final authority with respect to declaring any member of the, in this case, the House of People means the Lok Sabha. So that is the reason why the speaker is the person. So the first statement, there is no mention of the word political party in the Constitution of India. Now there is a slight doubt here, because is he talking with respect to 10th schedule or he is talking with respect to the complete Constitution of India? So how we construe the statement, based on that we can talk. Though the word political party does come under mention in the Representation of People's Act 1950 and 51 both, but 50 and 51 are statutory bodies. 50 and 51 are the statutory bodies. But the word political party, as per my knowledge, is not mentioned in the Constitution of India. So there is no mention of the word political party in the Constitution is a right statement, because it has not been mentioned anywhere in the Constitution of India. So this is where I would go with the answer 2 only. And here it is for sure that it is the speaker who is the final authority with respect to defection of people subject to disqualification based on defection under the 10th schedule. It is the speaker and not the president. The president has got no say whatsoever here. The president roles comes into play when the prime minister wants the removal of any minister from the ministerial post. then only the president will sprung into action. Disqualification from the house, the president does not generally get into it. It is primarily, especially the 10th schedule, what is I am talking about. Okay? So the first statement is incorrect, and the second statement, according to me, is not correct, because I don't remember anywhere that the Constitution of India is talking about a political party. The word political party, I don't remember as such. I may be wrong, but according to me, as far as I remember, the word political party has not been mentioned anywhere in the Constitution. Okay? Then coming to question number, sorry. Yeah. Then coming to question number 90. Sorry, 89, not 90. Oh, what is the problem? Yeah, question number 90. What is the statement saying? We need to further reduce the size because the question is too long. Let's see if we can bring it under one screen. No. Yeah. Now, question number 89. What it says? Consider the following statements. Yeah. In India, the state governments have no power for making rules for grant of concessions in respect of extraction of minor minerals, even though such minerals are located in their territories. So this is one statement, question number 89. Statement 1. Statement 1. The second statement says, in India, the central government has the power to notify minor minerals under the relevant law. Now, so according to me, the first statement here, is not correct, because in India the state government has no power for making rules for grant of concessions. Okay, extraction of minor minerals, even though such minerals are located in their territory. I think there are certain limited powers given to the state government according to the mines and minerals extraction policies. Certain amount of powers are as well. So that is the reason why I think. But when it comes to what you call extraction of minor minerals, even though such minerals are located in their territories, it is the state government, according to me, has no such power, because the mines and minerals extraction is generally the domain of the central government when they try to make rules for that. And in India, the central government has the power to notify minor minerals under the law is a right statement. So the option should be option D, where the statement 1 is not correct and statement 2 is the correct statement. So because though it is found in the so answer is statement D, question number 89. Then question number 90. Nature restoration law. See, which organization has enacted the nature restoration law to tackle the climate change and biodiversity law? This was done by the European Union recently. So this is where not exactly recently, but this is a major what you call effort taken by the European Union in ensuring the climate change efforts that they have done. So the statement A should be the right answer for question number 90. Okay. Then let's see question number 91. Yeah. Question number 91. Let's see. Consider the following statements. Question number 91. Panchayats, consider the following statements. Panchayats at the intermediate level exist in all states. This is one statement. Panchayats at the intermediate level. We know panchayats are not at the intermediate level. In the three-tier structure, the panchayat is at the lowest level. Then, to be eligible to be a member of panchayat at the intermediate level, a person should attain the age of 30 years. This is also a wrong statement. If you can know the article for the first statement, article 243b is the first statement, article 243f is the second statement, and article 243I is the last statement. The chief minister of a state constitutes a commission to review the financial position of panchayats at the intermediate levels and to make recommendations regarding the distribution of net proceeds of taxes and duties livable by the state between the state and the panchayat at the intermediate level. This is also a wrong statement. So the answer should be, which are not correct. So the answer should be D to this particular statement. Okay. Now question number 92 is related to IR. I think with this, no. One question related to the Gandhi Peace Prize, though it is not a pure polity question because it is talking about certain compositions, I thought I would cover in this. Question number 93. Who amongst the following are members of the jury to select the Gandhi Peace Prize? If you are aware, the Gandhi Peace Prize, the Prime Minister, the Chief Justice of India, and the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. These are the three people who constitute to select the Gandhi Peace Prize. If one is there, it is a wrong statement. So the correct answer to this question should be 2, 3 and 4. The option should be answer C. The President of India is not a member in the jury for selection of this. So as you could see, almost all the questions of polity were primarily asked directly from the textbook, not much anything asked outside the periphery of textbook and the NCRTs. Once again, UPSC has communicated through setting this kind of paper, telling the students to go through these NCRTs again and again as a matter of revision for all of you. Okay? So this is where I will end my polity discourse. History. Okay. And the next teacher, Rasul sir, will take over the history responsibility from me, and after that we may have other teachers taking over other subjects review as well. So will you catch you again once the history teacher, geography and environment ecology is completed. If time permits, I will come for the IR, internal security, and also maybe for economy. Thank you very much for patiently listening to us. And once again, all the best to the students who are sitting for the CSAT paper after this GS paper 1 that they have given today. Be confident, the paper was easy. As I told you in the beginning of the lecture, maybe around 85 to 95, this could be the bracketing of the cutoff for this examination. So, but do not lose hope. GS paper 2 also, and definitely for any doubts with respect to your preparation for the mains, we are running a free what you call answer writing program on mains test series. We call it Diksha program. This is the third year that we are conducting Diksha. Last year also from Diksha, 11 students from our institute had gone to give the interview successfully. So this is where the Diksha program is a beautiful platform to enhance your answer writing skill. This particular program would be run under my personal guidance. So you can be rest assured that the best of the quality support would be extended to all of you. So for any queries related to your mains preparation, you can always feel free either to the institution and meet me in person so that I can give you the plan of action for the next 3 months in preparation for your mains examination. And if some of you who have not prepared well in the ethics and essay paper also, they can also come. I would give you free classes for ethics and essay. You can prepare beautifully in 25-30 days itself the complete module of ethics and essay. So awaiting to teach, guide you, all of you in your success journey in UPSC. Signing off, Major Udoy. Thank you and Jai Hind. Rasool sir.
అంటే సారు క్రియేట్ చేసుకున్నారు. ఇంట్రొడక్షన్ ఇచ్చి స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాను.
So hello aspirants, myself Syed Rasool, Faculty of History. I've been teaching in different institutes including Ekam IS Academy. So in this session, we were discussing UPSC Civil Services Prelims. మనకంటే మనం ఉదయం జరిగింది ప్రిలిమ్స్ ఎగ్జామ్. సో జిఎస్ పేపర్లో రెస్పెక్టివ్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ నుంచి క్వశ్చన్స్ రావడం జరిగింది. సో ఈ సెషన్లో సిన్స్ ఇట్స్ ఏ లైవ్ సెషన్, we were discussing question paper. As far as history is concerned, I'll be going to take up the history part. So when we analyze the question paper, to be specific, we were discussing questions set B. As far as history is concerned, the other subjects we have set A and set D. Now please keep in mind set B. So when we analyze history question paper in 2025, I found it's an moderate questions. సో అంటే మనకు టఫెస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయి, మోడరేట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయి, ఈజియెస్ట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఐ వుడ్ సే మోడరేట్ ఇన్ నేచర్. సో ఫ్రమ్ హిస్టరీ వీ ఫౌండ్ దిస్ ఇయర్ ఫర్ అబౌట్ 18 క్వశ్చన్స్. ఆస్పిరెంట్స్ ఎవ్రీవన్ నోస్ లైక్ నో the respective subjects into questions ఏవైతే వస్తుంటాయి, like we generally the number would be varied, say like 2022 కానివ్వండి, 23, 24 and 25. So this year, Civil Services Prelims History 2025 lo, like we found for about 18 questions. 18 questions, 6 questions from ancient, 3 from medieval and 9 from modern. So with this background, we'll start the respective questions. Right? So 21st question, set B. I repeat, set B, 21st question. Set B. So 21st question. Consider the following statements about Raja Ram Mohan Roy. So this particular question we generally discuss in the classes under the tag called socio-religious reformation movements. Socio-religious reformation movements. One of the key areas. So under social religious reformation movements, we have Hindu reformation movements, Islamic reformation movements, Sikh Reformation movements and Parsi Reformation movements. So this particular question, it's a very direct question from Hindu Reformation movements. At least like half a dozen Reformation movements you might have studied. So అందులో మనకు ఒక రిఫర్మేషన్ మూవ్మెంట్ వచ్చేసి మనకు హిందూ రిఫర్మేషన్ మూవ్మెంట్స్ లో భాగంగా బ్రహ్మ సమాజ్. సో we have Brahma Samaj, we have Arya Samaj, we have Theosophical Society, we have Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna movement. So we have Young Bengal movement, Dr. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. So we have respective social reformers. So the first statement goes, he possessed great love and respect for the traditional philosophical systems of the East. Second statement, he desired his countrymen to accept the rational and scientific approach and the principle of human dignity and social equality of all men and women. In fact, when we understand the two statements, a little bit like the contradiction we generally found, reason being the respective social reformers and religious reformers, be it say medieval era bhakti and social religious reformation movements were associated with 19th century. So they generally had very low opinion towards Eastern institutions. A caste system ganivandi, right? Or religious institutions ganivandi. But when it comes to Raja Ram Mohan Rai, by caste he was a Brahmin. He had a lot of respect towards Eastern institutions. It does not mean he accepted the blind, irrational, unscientific elements. So first statement is correct. Second statement also correct. I repeat, though we found some sort of contradictory statements between first and second, but in this context, both these statements are correct. That is option C is the right answer. 22nd question. Consider the following subjects with regard to non-cooperation program, a non-cooperation movement of 1920-22. In fact, this is another direct question which we generally get in all competitive exams, including UPSC history. So manaku national movement lo bhanga we have three phases, that is moderate phase of 1885-1905, extremist phase of 1905-1920, and Gandhian phase of 1920 to 1947. So under Gandhian phase, we found three mass movements: non-cooperation movement of 1920-22, civil disobedience movement of 1930-34, and Quitinium movement of 1942. And let me tell you, it's a direct question and very patent question, I would prefer to say. So the respective question is related to non-cooperation movement. So first statement, boycott of law courts and foreign cloth. In fact, it's a direct program. So aspirants might have studied what are the programs, what are the say అందులో భాగంగా మనకు the first one, boycott of law courts and foreign cloth. So first statement is correct. Observance of strict non-violence. In fact, you can't imagine what do we call Congress movements, maybe moderate phase protests, extremist phase, like we have two movements, Vande Mataram movement of 1906-1908 and Home Rule movement of 1916-1918, and we have in non-cooperation, civil disobedience, and Quitinium. Whatever movements you talk about, ahimsa. So second statement is also correct. The third one, retention of titles without using them in public. A little bit like say confusion. In fact, retention of titles and honors without using them in public. Let me tell you, you might have studied one of the patent programs of Congress movements, especially from the days of non-cooperation. We found, say, you have to return your titles. Maybe knighthood ganivandi. Even Gandhiji himself returned the title called Kaiser-e-Hind. So retention of titles, koncham pakkan pettandi. Now come to fourth one, establishment of panchayats for settling disputes, local disputes, otherwise called as indigenous. In order to settle the local disputes, you have to rely on indigenous institutions, panchayats. What does it mean? Boycott of British law courts. It was the main intention of. So first statement is correct. Second statement is also correct. Fourth statement correct. Third statement is incorrect. So right answer for 22nd question, only 3. Now come to the third statement. In third statement lo bhanga, you have to return, what do we call, the British titles, or boycott the British titles. On few occasions, we found titles were returned to British government, especially as part of non-cooperation movement. You might have studied as part of non-cooperation movement. Rabindranath Tagore, I'm sorry, as part of what do we call, say, Jallianwala Bagh massacre, Rabindranath Tagore returned his title called knighthood. So third statement is incorrect. The remaining statements are correct for 22nd question. I repeat, for the right answer for 22nd question, option C, only three. Three statements are correct. 23rd question, it's a direct question related to medieval Indian history. The irrigation device called Araghatta. Araghatta. Even when you go through Satish Chandra's Satish Chandra's medieval India, you get the word and the same what we call say meaning. The irrigation device called Araghatta was option A water bag made of leather pulled over pulley. Incorrect. దాన్ని మనం సఖి అంటాం. Second option B, a large wheel with earthen pots tied to the outer ends of its spokes. The third one, a large earthen pot driven by bullocks. And the fourth one, a large water bucket pulled by rope directly by hand. In fact, it's a direct question and some factual information. The right answer is option B. In fact, Araghatta, some sort of irrigational device, you call it, which we found widely in ancient and medieval ages. Some sort of modern mortars, you call them. Araghatta. 24th question. Who among the following rulers in ancient India, who among the following the titles Matta, Vilasa, Vichitra, Chitta, and Gunabhadra? It's a direct question. We generally instruct aspirants focus on titles as far as political history is concerned. Titles, respective battles, and all manam proforma bhanga titles untai. So right answer option A, Mahendra Varman the first. Option B, Simha Vishnu. Option C, Narsimha Varman the first, and option D, Simha Varman. So right, this particular question related to ancient India called Pallavas. So Pallavas were the masters of South India in post-Guptan age. In post-Guptan age, North India was dominated by Pushyabhuti dynasty, Harshavardhana. Deccan was dominated by Badami Chalukyans, say, what do we call, Pulakeshi II. When it comes to South India dominated by Pallavas, there were so many great rulers in Pallavan dynasty. One of the great rulers happened to be Mahendra Varman, and the greatest ruler happened to be Narasimha Varman the first. Now, keeping aside this stuff, so what is the right answer for this question unapproved? Right answer is option A, Mahendra Varman the first. So Mahendra Varman the first, the prominent ruler from Pallavan dynasty, had so many titles. One of the titles happened to be Matta Vilasa. In fact, you might have studied, he also wrote a drama, a nataka, we call it Matta Vilasa Prahasana. And another title, Vichitra Chitta. He was a great painter. Chitta, Chitramu, Chitra, like in the Sanskrit and the English version painting. Vichitra and Gunabhadra. So these are the titles associated with Mahendra Varman the first. 25th question, another question from ancient Indian history. So it's a direct question, factual based question, you call it. Fahian or Faxian, the Chinese pilgrim traveled to India during the reign of Chandragupta II. We generally discuss classes. Aspirants shall focus on foreign travelers, on the other hand, the native rulers. We found the patent questions in each and every exam, the match the following, and even arrange them into chronological. This is direct and factual information. The right answer for 25th question, option B. The Chinese Buddhist traveler by name Fahian came to Guptan India when Chandragupta II was the ruler, and he stayed more than a decade in the court of Chandragupta II and authored a book called Shokuwoki. When it comes to the little later, we found Huyansang, who was the author of Siyuki, and he came to Huyansang came to India when three prominent rulers were ruling over Indian subcontinent. One among them was Harshavardhana of North India, Pulakesh the second of Deccan, and Narasimhavarman the third. So Narasimhavarman the first of South Indian. So right answer for 25th question, option B, Chandragupta the second. 26th question. Who among the following led a successful military campaign against the kingdom of Sri Vijaya, the powerful maritime state which ruled the Malay Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, and the neighboring islands? So this particular question belonged to medieval Indian history, especially early. We generally discuss in the classes timeline. Early medieval age, 750 AD to 1200 AD. So we found for about 36 Rajput dynasties in North India, Central India, and Western India. Out of 36 Rajput dynasties, we have, like, say, half-a-dozen dynasties. We have Paramaras, Pratiharas, Chandelas. Now come to Eastern India, we have Palas and Senas. Now go to Deccan, we have Rashtrakutas and Kalyani Chalukyas. Come down to Peninsular India, we have Cholas. So the right answer for this question, option A, Amogha Varsha, belong to Rashtrakuta dynasty. Pratap Rudra II belong to Kakatiya dynasty. Rajendra Chola dynasty. Vishnu Vardhana, Hoysala dynasty. So, chala, general question, even common sense based, you can answer. So take an example of early medieval age. Cholas were the masters of peninsular India. Not only peninsular India south, but also, like, the Deccan and Eastern India dominated, and even they also commanded over Southeast Asian kingdoms. And the right answer is option C, Rajendra Cholan the first. He happened to be the son of Raja Cholan. So we generally say Rajendra Cholan the first, say the worthy son of a worthy father, and he was also called as Napoleon of South India. 27th question. Also match the following. Once again, the factual information, say from ancient Indian history. With reference to ancient India, from 600 BC to 320 BC, consider the following pairs. On one hand, Mahajanapadas, on the other hand, the respective rivers. So we found frequent questions, match the following, that is, like, say we, on one hand, name of the kingdom, on the other hand, capitals. Besides, on one hand, name of the kingdom, on the other hand, important rulers. Now this time, on one hand, name of the Mahajanapada, on the other hand, the river banks which are located, respective river banks and all. So Asmaka located in the banks of river Godavari. It's a very easiest, because the significance of Asmaka kingdom or Asaka kingdom. So totally we found for about 16 Mahajanapadas. Out of 16 Mahajanapadas, the only Mahajanapada which is located in Deccan and South India happened to be Asmaka. Modern Telangana region, Asmaka kingdom located in Godavari. So if you are, like, the good at Mahajanapadas, so there was a Buddhist text called Anguttara Nikaya which gives the list of 16 Mahajanapadas. The book says 10 kingdoms are located in Gangetic Basin, like, the 2 kingdoms in northwestern India, 3 in western India, and 1 in Deccan and South India. Asmaka, Godavari, the right answer. Good pair. Kamboja, Vipasa or Vipas, Kamboja, modern, like, say northwestern India or Afghanistan, Pakistan, you call it. Avanti, it's like, the central India. But ఇక్కడ మనకు Mahanadi, like, we found in Orissa and all. Now come to Kosala, Sarayu. So how many of the pairs given above are correctly matched? So first pair is correct, second pair is correct, fourth pair is correct. Right answer is option C, only 3. So in third pair edithe undo Avanti Mahanadi, it's an incorrect pair. 28th question, the first Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, Gandharva music. The first Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, a music training school, was set up in 1901 by Vishnu Digambar Paluskar. Option A, Delhi. Option B, Gwalior. Option C, Ujjain. Option D, Lahore. In fact, this particular question can be considered as part of what we call art and culture lo bhanga. You might have read. Right answer is Gwalior. In fact, forget about 1901, almost 20th century. Even in medieval India, we found Gwalior was one of the one of the famous centers for art forms, to be specific, music, especially many Rajput rulers, like the who patterned music, and little later the same musicians also lived in the court of Mughals. The best example, Ramtanu Pandey, popularly called as 29th question. So 28th question, the right answer is option B, related to art and culture. And 29th question, Ashokan inscription suggests that the Pradeshika, technical terms, Pradeshika, Rajuka and Yukta were important officers. So when you say understand ancient Indian history administration, medieval Indian history administration, you have to focus on technical terms. So ఏంటి టెక్నికల్ టర్మ్స్ అన్నప్పుడు సే ప్రాకృత్ కానివ్వండి సంస్కృత్ కానివ్వండి in ancient India, by the time you go to medieval we have Persian term and Arabic terms. So we prefer to call the respective terms as technical terms. The two questions we generally get from technical terms. So this particular question related to ancient Indian history, to be specific, Mauryan Empire, administration of Mauryans, Ashokans, Pradeshika, Rajuka and Yukta. So option A, village level administration, incorrect. Village level administration, like we have Gramini, Grama Bhochaka, it's a very technical terms. So you can easily eliminate the first option. Option B, district level administration. Option C, provincial administration. Option D, a level of the central administration. Central administration kuda kadu, provincial kuda kadu. The right answer is option B, district level administration. For example, so for ease administration, the vast empire, the vast empire divided into provinces. The provinces of Mauryans were called as pathas, otherwise called as deshas. Today we call it states. Mauryans used to call pathas or deshas. For example, Uttara Patha, northern province; Dakshina Patha, southern province; Prachya Patha, eastern province. So right answer for 29, and the respective provinces and the heads and provinces, pathas or deshas further classified into districts. Districts were called as aharas. So aharas, districts, where we found Pradeshika, Rajuka and Yukta. So 30th question, consider the following statements in respect of the non-cooperation movement. Once again the question from non-cooperation movement, to be specific, ante ee samvatsram manaki ekkuga, so maximum questions we found from modern Indian history, to be specific, national movement. So 30th question, consider the following statements in respect of the non-cooperation movement. First statement, the Congress declared the attainment of Swarajya by all peaceful means to be its objective, legitimate and peaceful means. Second statement, it was to be implemented in stages with civil disobedience and non-payment of taxes for the next stage only if Swaraj did not come within a year and the government resorted to repression. In fact, a very direct statements with respect to non-cooperation movement. So right answer for 30th question, option C. Both these statements are correct. So set B, we were discussing history questions from set B. 91st question, sedition has become my religion. Even we might have discussed as part of general studies classes, you have to be good at the respective slogans. Take an example of Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose says, Subhash Chandra Bose, even Balagangadhar Tilak says, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. When it comes to Subhash Chandra Bose, give me your blood, I'll give you independence. Chalo Delhi, Jai Hind. So these are the statements given by what do we call Subhash Chandra Bose. Now go to Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh, the revolutionary leader who popularized the slogan called Inquilab Zindabad or Long Live Proletariat. Inquilab Zindabad slogan was given by Harshat Mohani, Maulana Harshat Mohani, but popularized by what we call Bhagat Singh. So sedition has become my religion was a famous statement given by Gandhiji at the time of option A, the Champaran Satyagraha, 1916, what we call 17, peasant movement, Champaran Satyagraha organized by Gandhiji. Option B, publicly violating salt law at Dandi, Dundee as part of civil disobedience movement 1930-34, and option C, attending the second roundtable conference in London, and the fourth one, the launch of the Quit India movement. So Quit India movement of 1942. So what is the right answer for the 91st question? Anappudu. The right answer is as part of civil disobedience movement. So what you supposed to understand while you're writing a statement or slogan, in which context the respective leaders articulated the statements or slogans. 92nd question. The famous female figurine known as Dancing Girl. In fact, one of the patent questions we generally found in previous years' exams from ancient Indian history, to be specific, Indus Valley civilization. The famous female figurine known as Dancing Girl found at Mohenjo-daro, made of option A, carnelian, option B, clay, option C, bronze, option D, gold. So, bronze. One of the titles of Indus Valley civilization, Bronze Age civilization, because bronze was a metal used by Indus people for the first time, and bronze happened to be the alloy metal of copper and tin under. So bronze dancing girl, or female figurine, popularly called as dancing girl. So 93rd question, defense to the people arrested in the aftermath of Chauri Chaura. Once again, national movement, modern Indian history, Indian national movement, to be specific, Gandhian phase. 1920 to 1947 Gandhian phase. Gandhiji, Congress party organized 3 mass movements under the guidance of Gandhiji. So non-cooperation movement of 1920-22, when it comes to Chauri Chaura incident, 5th February 1922. So as part of the suppression of the movement, so we found a violence sporadic event which took place at a place called Chauri Chaura on 5th February 1922. So what is the response of the respective, what is the response of British government? British government brutally crushed and brutally suppressed. The respective leaders were arrested by British police. So in order to fight against the British government, so respective leaders who assisted legal defense, option A, Chittaranjan Das, option B, Madan Mohan Malaviya and Krishna Kant, and option C, Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu and Khwaja Hassan Nizami, and option D, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So the right answer is option B, Madan Mohan Malaviya and Krishna Kant. And little later, the respective leaders were given good positions in Congress party. That is another story. 94th question. Subsequent to which one of the following events Gandhiji, who consistently opposed untouchability and appealed for its eradication from all spheres, decided to include the upliftment of Harijans in his political and social program? So in a nutshell, so the question is related to in which circumstances Gandhiji opposed, during which period Gandhiji vehemently opposed the social, what we call disabilities imposed on lower sections of society, what he prefers to call them as Harijans. What do we call today? Scheduled castes. So option A, the Pune Pact of 1932. Option B, the Gandhi-Irvine Pact, otherwise called as Delhi Pact. Option C, arrest of Congress leadership at the time of Quit India movement. And option D, promulgation of the Government of India Act of 1935. The right answer is a very direct question. The right answer is the Pune Pact of 1932. As I was telling you, you have to focus the circumstances. Why only here? Why only 1932 Gandhiji opposed Harijan, the social disabilities are criticized the inhuman activities which are associated with the lower sections of society and approved. Very simple. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who participated in RTCs, roundtable conferences, which were held in London. It was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar who received separate electorates for Dalits. Now, what is the response of Congress party to be specific? The head of the Congress, Gandhiji, opposed separate electorates which were given to Dalits. So he observed fast on to death. Might have studied this episode at a place called Pune, to be specific, Eravada jail. The entire information got to know by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and we found some sort of agreement between Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Gandhiji. So since this agreement took place at a place called Pune, so we call it Pune Pact. So separate electorates which are given to Dalits were abolished in place of separate electorates. In general electorates, Dalits were given reservations, and it is not exaggerated to say even today we follow the same system. So in general electorates, say scheduled castes or a period of time scheduled tribes so they were given reservations. So right answer for 94th question, option A. 95th question. So once again, the question is the question belonged to modern Indian history, to be specific, the first chapter of modern Indian history, that is advent of the Europeans. So 95th question, consider the following fruits or crops, you call them. Consider the following fruits. First one, papaya. Second one, pineapple. Third one, guava. How many of the above were introduced in India by the Portuguese in the 16th and 17th centuries? 16th and 17th centuries annappudu. So Portuguese East India Company, when we observe advent of the Europeans, we have Portuguese East India Company, we have Dutch East India Company, we have English East India Company, Danish East India Company, and French East India Company. So the respective crops introduced by Portuguese East India Company in 16th and 17th centuries, right answer for this question, option C. Even when you go through previous year question papers, we also found the same question, but with a little bit rephrased one. Papaya, pineapple, guava, and even we also found the so-called tobacco and all. Very context lo. The respective fruits introduced in India by Portuguese East India Company from which one of the following continents and Ariyadu? So we have American continent. You have two Americas, you have North America and you have South America. So respective fruits introduced on Indian soil by Portuguese from American continent. 98th question. Who among the following was the founder of the self-respect movement? Self-respect movement. In fact, it's a very easiest and direct, the factual based information. Once again, the question is related to modern Indian history. So there's a topic called caste movements, otherwise called as anti-Brahmanical movements. Anti-Brahmanical movements lo bhanga. For our convenience and exam point of view, it's a scholarly convention. Anti-Brahmanical movements broadly divided into two categories. Anti-Brahmanical movements organized by Dalit intellectuals or Western educated Dalit scholars. Anti-Brahmanical movements organized by intermediary castes. But intermediary castes, you also call them backward movements, right? Intermediary caste movements lo bhanga, we have self-respect movement, or a period of time self-respect movement, we call it as justice movement, and or a period of time justice party, Dravida Kalagam, the episode it goes. Who among the following was the founder of the self-respect movement? Turn up to option A, Periyar E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, option B, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, option C, Bhaskar Rao Jadhav, and option D, Dinkar Rao Javalkar. The right answer is very easiest and factual based question. The right answer is Periyar E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar. So these are the respective questions which we found from history. As I was telling, we have discussed so far UPSC Civil Services Prelims 2025 history. Very moderate in nature. I would say very moderate in nature. Reason being, even when you have a little bit information and content with conceptual clarity, you can easily answer such kind of questions. Right? So, right, it's all about the remaining what we call the questions, the remaining subjects that will be dealt by the other faculty members. Thank you.
Set paper. Set paper. అది పేపర్ డైరెక్ట్ ఇంపోర్ట్ చేస్తాం. అవును. అదే పేపర్ సెట్ జీమెయిల్ పంపించారు ఇక్కడ చేశారు. ఇవి టూల్స్ మోర్ చేసుకోవాలి. ఐసీ ఇది సెట్ సెకండ్ సెట్ మూవింగ్ కర్సర్ మీద మూవింగ్ కర్సర్ ఉందా పైన అదే కొట్టి మూవింగ్ ఎన్నో అది స్థాడుతుంది ఇదే ఇప్పుడు ఈ పేపర్ని మనం దాంట్లో పెట్టుకోవడానికి కదా నోట్ ఫైల్ పెడతారు కదా. నోట్ ఫైల్ ఈ పీడిఎఫ్ ఫైల్ డౌన్లోడ్ అయ్యింది కదా. ఇంత పెద్దగా చేసుకోవాలి. అది పెద్దగా నేను జూమ్ చేసుకో. జూమ్ అవ్వదా అది దీంట్లో దానిలో రాసేది వదిలేట రాసేది వదిలేట ఈ టేబుల్ కొంచెం ఇష్యూ. మైక్ చేయండి. ఏకంగా నేను కూడా తెలియాలి.
Hello, clear everyone. Clear. So hello guys, welcome to the paper discussion of UPSC preliminary examination 2025. And in this particular paper, as I have seen, there was equal emphasis given back to every subject, and from every subject approximately that 14-15 questions have come, and every 4 pillars, as we know, geography, history, polity, economy, within these 4 pillars they have segregated the equal importance. This is somewhat kind of a balanced paper as such, where we can say that it is somewhat in a moderate. The cutoff may vary from 93 to 98 in that regard. Yes, the cutoff 100% increases by 5 to 10 marks to the last cutoff, which was there as 88. So somewhere my predictability of cutoff is 93 to 98. I am taking that 5 marks edge because of the student segment and the reservations which are there. Keeping all this aside, 93 to 98 would be the general cutoff for UPSC 2025. Again, I am repeating my cutoff. 93 to 98 shall be the general cutoff as such. Clear? So, going into the discussion, as Obrey sir has dealt polity questions, Rasul sir has dealt history questions, I'd be taking those particular questions from geography, and we have prepared the key in such a way that according to our interpretation, we have prepared one sorting of key. If any further changes in that particular key, we would let you know post this particular live session too. So in the initial interpretation, what is this particular key and what is the probability which is there through which UPSC would bring us as that particular answer. So that stands keeping in our mind, we are going to check this particular key as such. So geography questions, I am checking out with the set number A. Okay. So the geography questions in this particular set number A starts somewhere around 22 as such. Yes, 21. It falls under geography as well as it falls under international organizations. But here we will be starting up our particular discussion with question number 22. If you all see, every time when I discuss the world geography, I would be discussing this in plate tectonics theory regarding with the Andes mountain ranges. And I'll ask you to mark this particular Andes mountain ranges and ask you to mark the Rocky Mountains in North America. If you see, Andes mountains are one of the oldest fold mountains which fall under the Alpine belt along the Himalayas belt, within the Himalayas belt section, along the South American region. Within this, if you observe, along the western border of the South America. So as they are present along the western border of the South America, obviously those countries like Colombia, Ecuador, Brazil, Venezuela, Bolivia would be there. It is only the Paraguay as a country which doesn't fit where the Andes mountain ranges are not extended. Yes, you might get a doubt of Venezuela and Brazil. Many people might have opted only 3 as option, but we are picking only 5 as option because some minor hill ranges are also falling under this Venezuela and Brazil. Let it be minor or major, it doesn't make any sense. Are they extending in that particular nation or are they extending in that particular country or not? That is what the final sense of matter is. So for this, we are opting only 5 as option. Going into question number 23, this is also related to map based. Every time when my geography lecture starts, in the first initial class itself, I'll ask you to mark the countries from where equator is passing. While we do that particular equator passing countries, I ask you to mark important cities which are closer to the equator and physical features closer to the equator like mountains, rivers, lakes, plateaus, valleys, delta, lagoon or deserts. In that particular segmentation, this water bodies question have come. So out of this 23rd question, if you observe, Lake Tanganyika, many times people who have attended my classes, they have marked this particular Lake Tanganyika along the Rift Valley lakes actually. So Lake Tonle Sap is not present closer to that particular equator, and Potas Lagoon is also not closer to the equator. It is only Lake Tanganyika which is very close towards this equator, which we have to focus, and only one becomes the perfect answer for this particular question. If you see the turmeric option based question, clear? Here we have India is largest producer and exporter of turmeric in the world. They have given the year during the 2023 and 2024 and they have given the coding here. More than 30 varieties of turmeric are grown in India. Maharashtra, Telangana, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu are the major turmeric producer states in India. Actually, statement 1 and 2 are correct, but 3 is not wrong because it shall be Andhra Pradesh which shall be leading producer. If you see in this context, Andhra Pradesh so here, in this, consider the following statements. It doesn't mean that, as I have said, Andhra Pradesh is the leading producer of turmeric states. Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, they are also having the turmeric growth. But they are asking about the major producing states as such. As this option is debatable, outrightly you want to check in this particular year, 1 and 2 becomes the right option for this particular question.
So we are choosing 1 and 2 as option in this particular zone. Now coming to this 25th question, if you could see, which of the following are the evidences of the phenomena of continental drift? Generally, whenever we read about the continental drift theory, we try to remember about the fossil evidences, we try to remember about the glacial evidences, jigsaw fit, coastal proximities. We try to recollect all these particular segments. So in the evidences, as he has said, which of the following evidences are true? The belt of ancient rocks from Brazilian coast matches with that of Western Africa. Yes, absolutely true. That is what the jigsaw fit as an evidence would be saying you. The gold deposits of the Ghana are derived from the Brazilian plateau when the two continents lay side by side. Yes, this is what Alfred Wegener has explained. The Gondwana system of sediments from India is known to have its counterparts in 6 different land masses of the southern hemisphere. So all these 3 given statements in this particular option are absolutely true. If you just go and Google it also, continental drift theory bolke, you will find a circular of evidences particular continental drift theory. Now coming to the 26th one as such. This is some interesting question which directly have come from NCERT. If you have a base NCERT knowledge also, you can solve this very effectively. The amount of dust particles in the atmosphere is more in subtropical and temperate areas than in the equatorial and polar regions. Yes, here just because of heavy rainfall and here because of the lowest temperatures, the dust particles which are there, they are present in lesser in this particular regions and more in subtropical and temperate areas. Statement 1 is absolutely right. Subtropical and temperate areas have less dry winds. No. Subtropical and temperate areas have more dry winds. So obviously option 2 is wrong. Here you can check out in which statement they have given option 2 as wrong. Here they have given option 2 as correct. Here they have given option 2 as correct. In this D they have given option 2 as correct. So finally the leftover option shall be C, where they have mentioned that 1 is correct but 2 is not correct as such. As 2 is directly given, you could see in the air circulation aspect of NCERT where you can understand that particular segment as such. Clear? So yeah, it has come for second time. Next 27th one. ये देखो, ये बहुत तगड़ा क्वेश्चन है. While hopefully students who are watching this video, please do comment. I have made you draw about the isotherm map. You were seeing like sir in the pitch का draw ये पिस्तुनाडु. Sir full है कि isotherm का map क्यों draw कर रहे? देखो तमाशा UPSC का UPSC standard. When I was teaching in the class, you were sitting somewhere at the last. Phone खेल रहे थे, कुछ खेल रहे थे. देखो isotherm. When I asked you to make the diagram of isotherm, people who are watching live, अगर ये याद है तो कमेंट तो करो भाई, जस्ट कमेंट तो करो. I have made you draw the isotherm. The isotherm maps bend towards the polar regions, towards the equatorial regions. Do you remember this isotherm maps in the January and July month? Hopefully everyone remember this particular statement. अगर आप देखेंगे in January in the northern hemisphere, the isotherms bend equatorward while crossing the land masses and poleward while crossing the oceans. As the oceans are warmer, the isotherm and they bend equatorward on the land masses as such. So statement 1 is absolutely right. In January, the air over the oceans is warmer than that of land masses in northern hemisphere. Yes, oceans are warmer in January in northern hemisphere and land is somewhat cooler in January in the northern hemisphere as such. So yes, absolutely statement 1 and 2 are correct, and 2 is also explaining 1 correctly. See, यहाँ पे game will not end. When you just say statement 1 correct, statement 2 correct, game will end when you know that statement 2 is explaining 1 or not. वहां पे game जाएगा भाई, वहां पे the game ends. If you just know the content, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, Anjum, isotherm, isobars. Yes, Irfan Sheikh. People who are live, isotherm के बारे में पता नहीं तो अब तो पढ़ लो, शर्म करो थोड़ा. At least now get shame and go and study this particular isotherms. Nothing is important in UPSC. Nothing is not important topic in UPSC. UPSC has every topic which is given in the syllabus, which we have interpreted. Everything is important. UPSC want you to learn more and come into the service rather than just reading important and vomiting there and come. Not every topic given in NCERT, it becomes very, very important. Never ever recollect what I have suggested you, what all I have discussed you within the class. They are in front of you. They are in front of you. If you could not answer this, then there is waste of time that I have taught 100 hours of geography for you in GS. It is waste of time for me and for you to sit in the class. ये बहुत तगड़ा क्वेश्चन है. 28th one, if you could see here, in context of the effect of water on rocks, chalk is known as very permeable rock, whereas clay is known as quite an unpermeable or least permeable rock. Yes, this is true. And chalk is porous and hence can absorb water. Yes, that is the reason why you take a chalk piece and dip it into water. एक मग ले लो, उसमें water में डाल लो. So obviously then you will understand how porous it is. Clay is not at all porous. Yes, 2 is correct, 3 is correct. And are these both explaining statement number 1? I need your answer, guys. Are these both explaining statement number 1? Statement 2 and 3 are correct. Are these explaining statement number 1? People who are live, please give the answers. सिर्फ देखो मत तमाशा करो. Do it. Mark the answer. What is the answer? What is the answer for it? Both 2 and 3 are explaining statement number 1. Hence, option A, both 2 and 3 are correct and both of them are explaining statement number 1. This is the right option for this particular question. Whenever we read rocks, we read texture, we read composition, we read porous, we read everything in that particular stance. Clear? Next, coming to 29th question. See, this is also somewhat near closer to NCERT based question itself. Without the atmosphere, अगर atmosphere नहीं है, temperature would be well below freezing point everywhere on the Earth's surface. Yes. That is the reason why atmosphere is important for us. Second, heat absorbed and maintains our planet's average temperature. That is what the greenhouse effect is. That is what the role of greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere is. Atmospheric gases like carbon dioxide are particularly good at absorbing and trapping the radiation. What is radiation? The heat which shall be released from the Earth's surface. Once the Earth is heated, Earth acts like a radiating body. Earth releases heat in the form of long wave outgoing terrestrial radiation. Out of that particular heat, some sort of heat would be trapped by greenhouse gases. In that greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide which is there, that is the most essential greenhouse gas which plays a key role in greenhouse effect. Again, I am repeating, people who still people who want this greenhouse effect to be understood, abhi to sudhar lo. Greenhouse effect will not lead to global warming, my dear. Increase in greenhouse effect will lead to global warming. At least change your statement. Greenhouse effect will not lead to global warming. Increasing greenhouse effect due to increase in greenhouse gases concentration in the atmosphere, where the anthropogenic activities like fossil fuels burning, which made the anthropogenic greenhouse gases to enter into the atmosphere, made the amount of trapping of heat to be trapped increased, that is re-radiating or counter-radiating onto the Earth's surface, leading to global warming. There are only 2 reasons for global warming. One is increasing greenhouse effect. Second is ozone depletion. At least abhi to sudhar jao. Greenhouse effect will not lead to global warming. इंक्रीजिंग ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट, ये साइंस फेयर में जो पढ़ के आए ना बच्चे, whoever have studied in science fair and they might have come, साइंस फेयर में क्या पढ़ाएंगे? ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट विल लीड टू ग्लोबल वार्मिंग। नहीं, नहीं, वो खराब था। इंक्रीज इन ग्रीन हाउस इफेक्ट will lead to global warming. All the three statements given here, they are absolutely right. They are absolutely right. ये राष्ट्रीय गोकुल मिशन के ऊपर एक क्वेश्चन आया है वैसे. They are going to deal in the schemes segment. Now question number 33. Yeah, 31 question. Done 31 wala. Clear? Consider the following statements regarding with, this is somewhat geography and environment based question, right? Studies indicate that carbon dioxide emissions from cement industry account for more than 5% of the global carbon emissions. Second, silica bearing clay is mixed with limestone while manufacturing cement. Where limestone is converted into lime during clinker production for the cement manufacturing. In this both are not explaining. Statements in 2 and 3 are correct, which is going to explain 1. Once you have to check out, school में हम पढ़ते थे cement manufacturing बोल के, but here you should not only read about cement manufacturing, you should also read about what is the impact which that cement manufacturing is doing. So इसका आंसर होगा C. ये तो डायरेक्ट आंसर है. The answer for this particular segment is 3. Okay. And coming to 33rd question, देखो भाई, see environment separately I'll be dealing at the last. Let me first deal geography with you. Okay, people who are live, please share this video, like this video, subscribe to Ekam Academy channel. Marketing मत सोचो भाई, education revolution कर रहा हूँ, marketing छोड़ो. I am filling up the patches in the brackets of your knowledge. Clear? So 33rd question, इसमें if you could see, scientific studies suggest that a shift is taking place in the Earth's rotation and axis. Yes, this we have recently addressed and news mein bahut tha. This we have seen. Statement 2, solar flares and associated coronal mass ejections bombarded the Earth's outermost atmosphere with tremendous amount of energy. Yes, this is the actual reason why we are having on and off an aurora australis and aurora borealis lights, which we consider as higher latitude or higher altitude lights, but they are even now visible in the Ladakh like regions also. And the polars, as the Earth's polar ice melts, the water tend to move towards equator. As absolutely, once there is an increase in water along the polar, obviously the water piled up over there will move to 0 degree. There is no doubt at all. So इसमें तीनों statement correct है, but इसमें if you could see, statement 2 and 3 are correct, but only one of them explains the statement 1. Here only one of the पिछले like previous question में only one of the statements 2 and 3 is correct, and that explains statement number 1. But here if you could see, only one of the both statements are right. Here if you could see the limestone converted into lime during clinker production of the cement manufacture, इसमें 2 गलत है, 3 सही है. But if you could see this particular statement here, both the statements are correct, but only one is explaining about the statement number 1. So here this is what the option which you have to check in this particular consideration. Aurora australis, aurora borealis, we on and off and discuss this solar ejections and highest amount of energy. This is a current affair based question. I'm not putting this into static directly. This is currently Hindu newspaper wala question. If you could just drop this particular statement with a Hindu tagline, you will get that particular segment in the Hindu newspaper as such. Clear? Next, moving to 76th question, beta. Kya rahe Irfan? What you are doing? Answer yendra bhai. Class lo jadinanka silent kusutetla. 76th question. Wow, tagda. Every time during the time zone calculation, standard time calculation, I have made people to calculate the time, and I have explained about standard time zone line. Russia has 11 standard time zone lines. India has one standard time zone line, that is IST, but India is trying to maintain the second standard time zone line, that is Chai Bagan time zone line. and France, Germany, USA, Canada, China, they have some sort of 4 to 5 standard time zone lines as such. Here, it is somewhat conflicting in nature. My intention is like in this Australia and Brazil, these are the two countries. This I am not giving the answer as such. Australia and Brazil, because the rest countries, if you see UK, Denmark, and New Zealand, they have, especially UK and Denmark, they have overseas territories. So here, is he going to calculate the overseas territories or not? That we don't know. But exclusively, if you see Australia and Brazil, they doesn't have much overseas beyond their particular longitudinal limit. So these two countries have these particular standard time zone lines as such, which are more than 4. Actually, Brazil also have only 4 as such. But I am picking this answer. Please, we will reconfirm the option for this particular segment. Okay, don't worry, we are going to reconfirm for the question number 76. Please list the question number 76. Yes, we are going to reconfirm it. But as of now, mera manna hai, my sense is saying like only 2 countries they have more than 4 standard time zone lines as such. But agar recent past mein kuch bhi add hua, that we can't say as of now. But I'll reconfirm with this particular option. I am not giving exact option to it, but I am thinking that it is only 2, but I'll reconfirm it. Clear? Next question is 77th wala. Yeah, dekho. 77th mein, if you could see, this is also map based question. Anadir in Serbia and Nome in Alaska are a few kilometers from each other, but when people are waking up and getting set for the breakfast in these two cities, it would be different. Obviously, the time differs along the both longitudinal Indian international dateline. For this, you have to know about ideal international dateline 180 degrees longitude wala, you have to know the kahani. Us taraf Russia hoga, is taraf Alaska hoga. They will be having different dates as such. So obviously, getting set for breakfast in these two cities, however, differs. When it is Monday in Adyar, it is Tuesday in Nome. Clear? When it is Monday in Adyar, it is Tuesday in Nome. So when it is Monday in this particular segment, Adyar in this particular Serbia, so there we have differential segments. Just a second. Let me reconfirm this. Here. So if you could see, when it is Monday in Adyar, it is Tuesday in Nome is the wrong option. For this, only one becomes the right option for this. I am reconfirming it. For this particular option, only one becomes the right option for this. Clear? Next question number. ये क्वेश्चन तो सेल्फ रेस्पेक्ट मूवमेंट हिस्ट्री से आया था. Yes, coming to this economic geography based question. Which of the following countries, consider the following pace? And as you know, the pairing statement, 3 block based questions, different questions started coming from this segment. Country resource rich region. Botswana rich in diamond. Yes, absolutely. Botswana, that South Africa regions along the southern African provinces are rich in diamond. Chile is rich in lithium. Yes, Chile and that particular adjacent countries of Argentina, they form up a lithium triangle belt, which we have discussed mostly. Indonesia, nickel is leading producer for Indonesia. So all these 3 countries are matched perfectly for this particular statement. All 3 regions are correct. All 3 are correct. See here, the second pairing of question, he has confused you a lot. He has confused you a lot in this particular segment. Here. So if you see, they have given the places which were in news or the regions which were in news, and here they have given the countries. This is where UPSC plays with the mind of an examiner. Dimag chalao. See, every time I say one statement, solving UPSC paper is not important. Handling that very perfectly is very, very important. If you could see here, he has played with your mind. Mallorca, Italy, Normandy, Spain, Sardinia, France. है ना? But these three options are wrong. What he has did is, for the countries, he has interconnected with each one. Mallorca is actually in Spain. Normandy is present in France. Sardinia is present in Italy. If you read the world history also, French Revolution, Mallorca आएगा वहां पे. Italy, unification of Italy, you will know about Sardinia. Treaty of Sardinia, ऐसा कुछ है world history में. So he has played with your mind in this. All the three options are gone. All three options are gone. Clear? Are you getting this particular question? Clear? Next one, 81st question. I have said this. Irfan, Gurtundara, rare earth elements చెప్పిన. People who are live watching, Sumaya, rare earth elements के बारे में बेटा याद है? Rare earth elements मैंने लिखवाए भाई already. I have made you to prepare the list and I have given you assignment. Rare earth elements assignment दिया था, याद है? You have to write about the uses of those rare earth elements. Irfan, గుర్తుందారా మొత్తం రాష్ట్రం లేదు ఇంకెప్పుడు? ఈ రోజన్నా రాయి, నువ్వు రాయలేదని అర్థమవుతుంది. ఈ రోజన్నా రాయి. Following statements regarding with one this rare earth elements. Some rare earth elements are used in manufacture of flat television screens, that is वो LED ऐसा screens जो है उसमें यूज करेंगे, and computer monitors. Some rare earth elements have phosphorescent properties. Yes. So this is the actual reason why they are used in this particular television screens and monitors. So both the statements are correct and 2 is the correct explanation of statement number 1. So A becomes the option for this particular question. Okay now? So కొన్ని environment questions వచ్చినాయి. ఆ environment questions ఏంటో చూద్దాం. Question number 31 already we have discussed in the geography itself. Question number 32 చూద్దాం. Question number 32. ఎట్లుందిరా పేపర్ ఇర్ఫాన్? క్లియర్ అవుతామా అవమా? 32. Yes, people who are live. Anyone wrote the examination today, beta? Any help चाहिए? Last minute. अच्छा, already they went into CSAT, right? CSAT भयंकर होगा भाई, तगड़ा. They इतना easy paper if they have given for general studies. నాకైతే CSAT ఏదో అవుతుంది, టఫ్నెస్ అన్నది ఉంది. బట్ ఐ అర్జ్ దట్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ పాస్ దట్ సి స్క్వేర్ ఆఫ్ 66.6. ఇది యూపీఎస్సి పెట్టిన సి స్క్వేర్ అండి, 66.66. అందరూ పాస్ కావాలని కోరుకుంటున్నాం. ఎస్ ఇర్ఫాన్, ఇప్పటికన్నా కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ వచ్చిందారా? చదివితే అవుతుందిరా యూపీఎస్సి, ఎందుకు కాదు? అంజుమ్, కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఆయా బేటా? People who are there live, have you got confidence after watching this paper? Classes low, whatever we say, they are 100% true words. अगर सही से पढ़े होते last 1 year से, if you might have read, you might have got 120 plus in this particular paper. 120, 80-90 का बात नहीं कर रहा हूं मैं, 120 का बात कर रहा हूं. 120. चलो 32nd question we'll see. At the 28th UNFCCC conference, COP28 meeting जो हम बोलते हैं, India refrained from signing the Declaration of Climate and Health. The COP28 Declaration on Climate and Health is binding declaration, and if signs it becomes mandatory. Statement 3, in India, health sector is decarbonized. The resilience of its healthcare system may be compromised. COP28 గురించి కూడా ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ చదివిన పిల్లలకు తెలుసు. PMF పబ్లికేషన్స్ బుక్ నుంచి చదవండి, శంకర్ బుక్ నుంచి చదవండి అని చెప్తా వచ్చినాము. అక్కడ ఈ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ అన్ని ఉన్నాయి. సో ఓన్లీ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద స్టేట్మెంట్స్ ఇన్ 2 and 3 ఆర్ కరెక్ట్. దట్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్స్ ద స్టేట్మెంట్ నెంబర్ 1. ఈ రెండిట్లో ఒక్కటి ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసినా సరిపోతుంది. దీనికి సి ఆప్షన్ ని మనం కన్సిడర్ చేయొచ్చు అని ఈ ఆప్షన్ ని లాస్ట్ ఇయర్ నుంచే మనకి 3 స్టేట్మెంట్లు ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అక్కడ నుంచి క్వశ్చన్లు రావడం జరుగుతుంది. సో సి ఆప్షన్ ఏదైతే ఉందో దీనికి పర్ఫెక్ట్ సూటబుల్ ఆప్షన్ అండి. అనిల్ కుమార్, ఎస్, సిఏపిఎఫ్ సిడిఎస్ కోచింగ్ యూపీఎస్సి జనరల్ స్టడీస్ తోనే మ్యాచ్ అవుతుంది. ఒకసారి ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ రాబెట, ఎయిదర్ నువ్వు సెల్ఫ్ ప్రిపరేషన్ అవుతావా, లేకపోతే కోచింగ్ ఏమన్నా నీకు అవసరం పడుతుందా, నువ్వు సొంతంగా చదవగలుగుతావా, లేకపోతే మెంటర్షిప్ చేస్తే చదవగలుగుతావా, లేదా టెస్ట్ సిరీస్ జాయిన్ అయితే చదవగలుగుతావా అని మాట్లాడదాం. లేకపోతే యూ కెన్ కాల్ ఆన్ టు ద నెంబర్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ ప్రెసెంట్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ టేక్ ఎన్ అపాయింटमेंट అండ్ యూ కెన్ స్పీక్ विथ मी आल्सो. यस अंजू, वही बोल रहा था मैं, असाइनमेंट्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है बेटा, बिकॉज व्हाई आई से असाइनमेंट्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट इज क्लास में जो पढ़ाते ना that is very limited. Into 4 times when you work hard, then only civil services is easy. UPSC expects you to do the research and frame up a structure and then come and sit into the examination and clear it. They doesn't want some others assistants to help you and crack this examination. That's why we always suggest, we always pray for you that you have to crack this prelims and mains examination on your own. Our necessity should be very limited for you. Then only you will become a best IAS. Becoming an IAS is easy, कैसे भी हो जाएगा 2 साल में, but becoming best IAS is tough. That's why the maximum we can read, the maximum we can study, that is what we have to do. Sir, I'm studying BTech and completed my first year. Can I join the course? Yes beta Sweta, you can join the course. You can call to the given number and take my appointment beta. I'll speak with you. 2 years you can prepare for general studies. 4th year you can take the optional and then you can prepare for this. Sir, I want to meet SPS Obrai sir. Yes, you can come to the institute Anil, you can meet Obrai sir. నేను అదే చెప్తున్నా ఇర్ఫాన్, జస్ట్ అసైన్మెంట్స్ చేసినా కూడా కట్ ఆఫ్ క్లియర్ అయిపోతుంది రవి. దట్స్ ద రీజన్ వై ఐ అర్జ్ యూ టు డూ అసైన్మెంట్. ఐ వాంట్ టు సీ యూ యాజ్ ఎ బెస్ట్ ఐఏఎస్. ఐఏఎస్ లో కావద్దు రబ్బాయి, బెస్ట్ ఐఏఎస్ కావాలా, బెస్ట్ ఐపీఎస్ కావాలా, బెస్ట్ ఐఆర్ఎస్ ఆఫీసర్ కావాలా. క్లియర్? సో కమింగ్ టు ద నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, 34th వన్ అండి. ఆల్రెడీ 33rd మనం దాంట్లో జోగ్రఫీలో చదివినాం. ప్యారిస్ అగ్రిమెంట్ గురించి ఇచ్చారండి. 2015-16 లో ఉన్న ప్యారిస్ అగ్రిమెంట్ గురించి సెగ్మెంట్ బేస్ క్వశ్చన్ వచ్చింది. Article 6 of the Paris Agreement on Climate Change is frequently discussed in global discussions on sustainable development and climate change. Okay. Article 6 of Paris Agreement on Climate Change sets out the principle of carbon markets. Yes, correct. Article 6 of the Paris Agreement on the Climate Change intends to promote inter-country non-market strategies to reach their climate targets. In this, all the 3 statements which are given correct andi. Meeru UNFCCC summits ఎట్లాగానే చదవాల్సి ఉంటుంది. దాంట్లో క్యోటో ప్రోటోకాల్ ఒకటి, ప్యారిస్ క్లైమేట్ సమిట్ ఒకటి, రీసెంట్ గా జరిగిన 4 100% you have to read. So when you read this particular 4, you would be answering these particular questions very directly. In this, all the 3 statements are correct, and statement number 3 and 2 are explaining statement number 1 very exclusively and directly. There is no discussion at all. They are explaining it directly, that what sustainable development and climate change is. So statement 3 and 2 are explaining statement number 1. This is the right option. Coming to the 35th one, if you could see, which of the following launched natural solutions finance hub for Asia and Pacific? So obviously along the Asia and Pacific region, the connected bank which is there, that is Asian Development Bank, who have launched this nature solutions finance hub, where to overcome the climatic change segments, to overcome the natural disasters, to overcome the problems which would be arised when we utilize natural resources, or to overcome those particular economic segments whichever come into picture. This particular fund like financial hub has been launched, that is launched by Asian Development Bank. This is a direct cheat code question which we generally read it in current affair. Agar Hindu mein pada hota, this question might have directly appeared many times in that particular Hindu newspaper, if you could see. With reference to direct air capture, an emerging technology, which of the following statements are correct? It can be used as a way of carbon sequestration. What is carbon sequestration? The procedure of trapping the carbon or intaking the carbon is called as carbon sequestration. Clear? It can be a valuable approach for plastic production and food processing. Yes. In aviation, it can be a source of carbon for combining with hydrogen to create synthetic low carbon fuel. Yes, in this, all the three given statements which are there, they are directly correct. This direct air capture is a recent emerging technology which still many countries did not adopt as such, but it is in the news, and here all the given statements fall under the direct carbon sequestration method of direct air capture as such. So 36 wala is also correct. 37, this is somewhat tricky in nature, where we also found it very difficult in as such to frame up the option for this. Regarding with peacock tarantula, consider the following statement. It is omnivorous crustacean. It is not as such a omnivorous crustacean. So one is gone. And its natural habitat in India is only limited to some forest areas. Yes, true. In its natural habitat, it is an arboreal species. Yes. In this particular statement, if you could see, 2 and 3 becomes the right option. One statement is wrong. Statement number 1 becomes wrong as such. And 38th one, if you see, consider the following statements. Carbon emissions के ऊपर दिए हैं. Carbon dioxide emissions in India are less than 0.5 ton carbon dioxide per capita. In terms of carbon dioxide emissions from fuel combustion, India ranks second in Asia Pacific region. Electricity and heat producers are the largest sources of carbon dioxide emissions in India. So here the considerable point is the news, ये figure जो है, this is somewhat in sense like I'm not sure with this figure, so we can eliminate option number 1. So 2 and 3 becomes the right option for this particular question. 2 and 3 clear. Next, 39th one. This you will be however doing it wrong. Here cassava is woody shrub, ginger herb with pseudostem, Malabar spinach, mint, papaya are gone. Here, mint is not an annual shrub and papaya is not a woody shrub as such. Let me reconfirm this particular segment. Yeah, cassava is a woody shrub, ginger is a pseudostem, Malabar spinach is a herbaceous climber, mint is not an annual shrub, it's a perennial herb. Papaya is not a woody shrub, it's a tree-like herb. So for this, 4 and 5 would be eliminated. 1, 2, 3 which are present, they would be the right options for this particular thing. Acha, yahan pe only 3 becomes the right option. And the 40th question, the last but one question in the environment. With reference to the planet Earth, consider the following statements. Rainforests produce more oxygen than that produced by oceans. This is wrong. Marine plankton, phytoplankton and phytosynthetic bacteria produce about 50% of the world oxygen. Yes, oceans में जो phytoplankton and phytobacteria है, they generally produce more world's oxygen. This is true. Well oxygenated surface water contains several folds higher oxygen than its atmosphere. This is also wrong. So only 2 becomes the right option for this particular question. And the last question is 85th one. If you could see 85th one, this is directly nothing but the artificial rainfall wala, the cloud seeding context, the artificial way of causing rainfall to reduce the air pollution as such. We use silver iodide in this particular segment along with potassium iodide. So silver iodide and potassium iodide is the answer for this. So these are the questions which came from the geography and environment segment. And now Obrai sir would be continuing up with the rest of the questions, and whatever would be left over that I will be taking after Obrai sir session. So please wait on live. Thank you for watching this. We would be continuing the session until we finish the entire key. So Obrai sir would be joining you just within 1 to 2 minutes. Thank you. Sir. Hello, ma'am. Sir, Obre, sir. Sir, Obre, sir. सर हाँ आप अभी इकोनॉमिक कर रहे हैं ना?
यार इकोनॉमी एंट्रेंस है पूरा आधे घंटे में लिखता है।
वो हो गया तो लिख लीजिए, मेरा एसएनटी बच जाएगा जो मैं कर लूंगा साथ में। कर लूंगा ठीक। देख पेपर में
Yes. Hello students, welcome back. We will continue where sir has stopped. I think sir has taken the marker pen with him. Sir, marker pen दे दो गरीब। Which is this set that sir is taking? I have no idea. What is this set? Yeah, I think this is the set A. Yeah. For students who have joined us just now, we are dealing with set A. In this particular section, I'll talk about IR internal security as well as the economy part. We'll go from behind, starting with question number 100. Okay. In the finals of the 45th Chess Olympiad held in 2024, Gukesh Dommaraju became the world's youngest winner after defeating the Russian player Ian Nepomniachtchi. So, but understand, it was not a Russian player. He defeated Chinese player called Ding Liren. He was the Chinese player who was called the Ding Liren. So this statement is partially correct and partially wrong. So ultimately the answer is wrong. Then Abhimanyu Mishra, an American chess player, holds the record of becoming world's youngest ever grandmaster. This is a right statement. If I remember, I think he was around 12 years of age, maybe around 4 months, 12 years, when he became the youngest grandmaster of the world chess championship. Okay, so this statement 2 is the right answer. Some student who has chosen A, that student is wrong. The second option is the right option. First is a wrong option. Okay. Now coming to the next question, we are going back as I told you. Question number 99. If you see, if I can just maybe increase the size for you. Consider the following statements in respect of the first Kho World Cup. In respect of the first Kho World Cup, the event was held in Delhi, India. Indira Gandhi Stadium it was held. It is the right statement. Indian men beat Nepal. The statement till here is correct. The Indian men beat Nepal. This statement is correct. With a score of 78-40 is a wrong statement. This is a wrong statement because the score is 54-36. What UPSC has done is they have interchanged the scores of men and women. The women it was 78-40 and men it was 54-36. So eventually only one statement is right and the correct answer would be A only, because ఏం జరిగిందంటే they have interchanged the scores between option 2 and option 3. So the correct answer would be A, which is option 1 only. Okay. Then the Lokpal we have covered. Question number 97 again is related to IR. Consider straight from the classroom learning. Consider the following statements with regard to BRICS. 16th BRICS summit was held under the chairmanship of Russia in Kazan. This is a right statement. Indonesia has become a full member of BRICS. This is not what in the 16th summit, this has not happened. It is a wrong statement. Egypt was the one that attended, Iran was the one that attended, UAE was the one country which attended this particular 16th summit of what you call BRICS that had happened. And in fact, one more country called Ethiopia also participated in the BRICS summit. So the second statement is a wrong statement. The theme of the 16th BRICS summit was strengthening multiculturalism for just global development and security is a right statement. So the statement 1 and statement 3 are right. So statement 1 and statement 3, the right answer has to be option C. This is again a international relations related question. We'll go back. Let us see. Yeah, question number 96. Consider the following pairs: international years and the theme as per the United Nations. Sorry, as per the United Nations, we need to give the themes also. This is when International Year of the Women Farmer 2026 was not the International Year of Women Farmers. It was related to rangelands and pastoralists, basically related to animal grazing and basically protecting the grazing grounds for the animals. This was related to that. Okay. Then second, International Year of Sustainable and Resilient Tourism for 2027. So upcoming 2027 after 2 years, this is a right statement, this is a wrong statement. International Year of Peace and Trust 2025 is what they are asking. No, this 2025 was year related to quantum technologies. It was related to quantum technologies. So this is a wrong answer. Okay. Then 2029 International Year of Asteroid Awareness and Planetary Defense 2029. This is a right statement. So statement 2 and 4 are correct. So that is how option should be option B. Only 2 are correct. So this is how only 2 is the right answer in set A for 96th question. Okay. Now, consider the following related to AI Action Summit held in Grand Palais, Paris. So this is talking about Artificial Intelligence Action Summit that was held in 2025 in Paris, February. Okay. It was co-chaired with India. Yes, if you remember, the French president was present. The French president was present along with him. Our prime minister, sorry, the French president was present along with him. Our prime minister Narendra Modi was also present. So this is a right statement, and it was held in Bletchley Park summit held in 2023. This is also right statement. The Bletchley Park and Seoul is in South Korea. Seoul is in South Korea, and this Bletchley Park was in UK in 2023. Okay, and along with other countries, US and UK also signed the declaration. If you have monitored the outcome of this particular declaration, some of you may be aware that America and Britain denied to sign because they had some issues related to governance and national security. So they said we are not going to sign this declaration. So they denied to sign this declaration. So only statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. So the answer should be option A here. Okay, so that is how only one statement is correct there. Okay, then next question. It is about Gagan. Gagan is that GPS aided geo augmented navigation system which uses a system of ground stations to provide necessary augmentation. This is basically giving for accuracy for what you call aviation traffic. But it is not only for aviation traffic, but the Gagan satellite feed is primarily used by the aviation sector, but it is not reserved for aviation sector as such. Okay. What are the statements? They are asking us to identify the correct statements related to this. First is, it is designed to provide additional accuracy and integrity. This is a right statement. In the Gagan, the accuracy reaches 3 meters also. That is the quality of the Gagan's accuracy that we get. Then it will allow more uniform and high quality air traffic management. This is also a right statement because they are using it for better air traffic control. It will provide benefits only in aviation but not in other modes of transportation. It is actually a wrong statement because not transportation related. Again, this becomes subject of interpretation because recently Karnataka has used the Gagan satellite data for doing its forest land surveys. So is he talking about only the transportation sector or anything? That is left to our what we call wisdom? But from my side, option 1 and 2 should be correct. But option 1 and 2, if you go with that, option D will be the right answer. If you only consider transportation here, I am sure this would be also available to the naval assets also. So even in that case, this would become a wrong option, option 3. So the answer should be option 1 and option 2 according to my opinion. Okay. Now coming to question number 93. This is what again very important chapter from the question number 93. 93 I have discussed already with in the polity segment, where I said it is the Prime Minister, Chief Justice of India and the leader of opposition who are jury members in the Gandhi Peace Prize selection process. Okay. Now we'll move to question number 92, which is related to BIMSTEC, which is part of your IR syllabus. Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technological and Economic Cooperation. Okay. Now, it is a regional organization consisting of 7 member states till January 2025 is a right statement. Now, it came into existence with the signing of Dhaka Declaration is a wrong statement. BIMSTEC was formed not with Dhaka Declaration. If you have attended the classes, it is Bangkok Declaration. It is Bangkok Declaration, right? Now, so this is a wrong statement. This is a right statement. Now, Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka, Thailand and Nepal are founding member states of BIMSTEC. It is related to Bay of Bengal initiative and Nepal was not a initial founding member. So the third statement is an incorrect statement. And in BIMSTEC, the subsector of tourism is being led by India. No, this is also a wrong answer. This subsector related to tourism is not held by India. In fact, India holds the security subsector where transnational crimes we are taking care of. In fact, we are taking care of disaster management also, and energy related dimension is also given to us. But tourism has not been given to India. But I think tourism has been given to, if I am right, it is given to Nepal, not to India. So the only one option is right, almost all are wrong. So the correct answer to this question should be option D. Okay. Now coming to question number 91. 91 is a polity related question which we have already covered. So we will not do the question repetition again. Okay. Now we will go back to few questions related to IR that are there. Though I have covered this in the what I call in the polity segment, though it is related to IR, which organization has enacted the nature restoration law? The answer is the European Union, with an aim to protect the nature is what they have done. Few more questions on international relations. We need to go back little behind. 80 and 79. 80 means we need to go behind. 80 and 79. Yeah, very important. This is how the reading of atlas and following the current affairs becomes important in UPSC. Now, Mallorca is in Spain, not Italy. Mallorca is in Spain and not Italy. Normandy is in France. In world history, you would have studied about Normandy landing, very important campaign which is taught as part of your what you call world history. So this Normandy landing is very, very important. Okay. So now Sardinia is in Italy. Sardinia is in Italy. It is one of the island, what you call this thing in the Mediterranean Sea. In fact, Sardinia happens to be the second largest island in the Mediterranean Sea after Sicily. After Sicily, Sardinia is one of the highest islands in the Mediterranean Sea. So, in this particular case, all the options have been incorrectly matched because he is asking you to find out how many of them are correctly matched. That's how the answer is D, none of the above. Moving to the next question, question number 79, which is talking about countries and what are the major what you call resources that they are rich in. First question, Botswana, diamonds. Yes, this is a right answer. Botswana has been blessed with one of the largest what you call deposits of diamonds in the world. Then comes Chile. Chile, they said lithium. Actually, Chile lithium is also there, but Chile is primarily copper. It is famous for resource rich in. After copper, it is lithium in what you call Chile. Now, whether they are asking about the topmost position or the second topmost, we do not know about this. But yes, Chile does have a lot of lithium reserves, but primarily Chile is famous for copper reserves. Okay? Copper is the highest. Then Indonesia, nickel is also rightly matched. So if you consider only the top, then only two options would be there. But if you consider as a resource, this country is rich in lithium. If you consider that, then the answer would be all the three. But the top resource that is available in Chile is copper and not lithium. But however, Chile is famous for its lithium resources also. So we'll take that stand only and we'll consider all three of them as the correct option. Okay? But how UPSC considers, we have to wait and watch. There would be some controversy for sure. Okay? Now, question number self-respect movement, we are not bothered. Then again, this is also not part of our international relations. We'll see if any other question is left. Yeah, one odd question I think here also. Yes, have more than 4 time zones. This is very important from the time zones, though this is not again a pure IR question, but I thought let me discuss this. UK, Denmark, New Zealand, Australia and Brazil. Here you need to understand that Brazil has 4 time zones, but the question is asking more than 4 time zones. So Brazil is a wrong answer. But if you see UK has as close as 9 time zones. Denmark and New Zealand have 5 each, and again Australia has 9 time zones. So this is how the answer should be 4. That is 2. Somebody has marked it correctly. I don't know how accurately that person could get it, but Brazil has only 4. Brazil does not have more than 4. Okay. Now, moving to the next question. This is consider the following fruits. Following fruits, how many of the above were introduced in India by the Portuguese in the 16th and the 17th centuries? In the 16th and the 17th century, if you see the fruits above, papaya, pineapple and guava, these all the 3 fruits were brought by Portuguese only to India. They were brought by Portuguese only to India, all 3 of them. the 16th and 17th century is the answer. So the answer would be all the three above. So the papaya, pineapple and guava, all the three fruits. In fact, not only this, few others they brought from America, but they brought to India, like cashew nut is one, then chili is also one, tobacco is one more item which the Portuguese have brought to India. So the cashew nut, the chili and the tobacco is the additional things, not in the question paper though. The answer would be three. Okay, all the three of the above. Any other questions from IR? I don't think so. If not so, we can jump into the economy part of the paper. Economy came little tricky, not very much tricky though, but little tricky the paper came. We'll see how. Just one question kind of related to IR is question number 21, I suppose, about North Atlantic Treaty Organization. We'll come back to this page. They're asking a question related to North Atlantic Treaty Organization, which was in news for though wrong reasons, but it has been asked as a question, so we need to see. Consider the following statements, following countries, and we are talking about Austria, Bulgaria, Croatia, Serbia, Sweden, and North Macedonia. What is the question? How many of the above are members of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization? If you are a student of international relations, PSA are optional as such. See, generally what happens, we do not by heart the members of such a large organization, because around 32 countries are there in NATO. It is little difficult to remember, but now that UPSC is asking such questions, we need to what you call by heart these in future also. Austria, we know, is not a member of what you call North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Bulgaria and Croatia definitely are the member. Very easy guess, Serbia cannot be the member of the NATO because of the Russian influence in Serbia. Sweden, yes, you know, in 2024 only, I think, Sweden has joined what you call NATO. And if I remember correctly, Finland was the country that joined NATO in 2023. And Macedonia is also a country, one of the recent memberships into NATO, around 2020 ke aspas. Macedonia also joined, New Macedonia also joined the NATO. So now the question is, how many of the above are members of NATO? 1, 2 and 3. So only 3. A should be our answer. No, Macedonia is also there, right? Not 3, it is the 4. So 4, that is option B is our right answer. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Now we'll go back to our economy. We'll start with economy. This is the end of our international relations. Now we'll start with economy. Will come from behind. 75th question say will come ahead. Then we'll see how the questions have been asked. Little tricky, not though very much. If you apply logic, you will be able to arrive at the answer without much problem. Okay. Now, PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli, question number 70 is what we are going to do now. Yeah, question number 70. It targets installation of 1 crore solar rooftop panels in residential sector. This is a right statement. If you in the schemes, if you have studied, this is one of the aims of this what you call Har Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy aims to impart training on installation, operation, maintenance and repairs of solar rooftop systems at grassroots level. Yes, through the Gram Sabhas is what they were planning to do it. So it is a right statement. It aims to create more than 3 lakh skilled manpower through fresh skilling and upskilling under the scheme component of capacity building. This is also a right statement. So option D is the right answer, because all the statements given above this solar rooftop scheme of the government of India is correct. Very important catch point here is the residential sector. Okay. So if you are aware of this, you would get all the 3 of them correctly. Okay. Now, moving to the next question, question number 69. It talks about consider the following countries: UAE, France, Germany, Singapore, Bangladesh. Which is how many countries amongst the above are there other than India where international merchant payments are accepted under UPI? One country I know where it is not accepted is Germany. Other than, I think all of them are right. UAE, France, Singapore, and Bangladesh. So the answer should be C, 4, except for Germany, which has still not been integrated on the UPI platform. So the correct answer here should be option C, that is only 4. For the students who are watching it joined just now, we are doing set A, and in that set A, we are trying to what you call find answers to the economy part of the prelims paper. Okay, 69. Now moving ahead to the page, question number 68. Question number 68. Yeah, consider the following statements related to this question has been picked up from the FAQ page of RBI. We always tell the students to go through this FAQ page, the direct question from the FAQ page of the Reserve Bank of India. Consider the following statements in respect of RTGS and NEFT. We know RTGS is the real-time gross settlement and NEFT is the National Electronic Fund Transfer. 3 statements have been given. We have been asked to identify it. In RTGS, the settlement time is instantaneous. That's why the name itself suggests real time. While in case of NEFT, it takes some time to settle the payments. It is a right statement. We know there is something known as packet system in the NEFT. Couple of NEFT transactions are bunched together and the NEFT transaction is initiated. So first statement is a correct statement. Sorry. Then statement number 2, it is saying in RTGS, the customer is charged for inward transaction, while that is not the case for NEFT. There is no transaction for inward transaction, no charge for the inward remittance. So this is a wrong statement. So it is not a right statement. Then operating hours for RTGS are restricted on certain days, while this is not true for NEFT. This is a right statement because on certain days the RTGS operations are not available. So the answer should be 1 and 3, that is option number C for question number 68 for set A. So this should be your correct option. Okay. Now let's go to next question, question number 67. It is talking about IBRD, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. We know World Bank, we have heard this word World Bank, and we also heard something called as World Bank Group. World Bank comprises of IBRD plus IRDA, IBRD plus IDA, International Developmental Association. Okay? IBRD is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. And when we talk about World Bank Group, 3 more entities join: International Financial Corporation, Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, one more agency related to settlement of investment disputes. So when all those 5 combined, they are referred to as World Bank Group, but IBRD plus IDA collectively are referred to as World Bank. Okay. Now, what are the questions they given? Consider the following statements in respect of the IBRD, International Bank and Reconstruction Development. It provides loans and guarantees to middle income countries. It is a right statement. IBRD, middle income countries, it provides the loans and guarantees. It works single-handedly to help the developing countries to reduce poverty. It is a wrong statement. Single-handedly nahi hai, because the IDA also pitches in extending certain loans to the developing countries. So single-handedly is a wrong statement. Then it was established to help the Europe rebuild after the World War II. Yes, we know under the Marshall Plan, all these institutions were what you call brought in with an intention to reconstruct the Second World War savaged or damaged European countries. So this is also a right statement. So 1 and 3, option C should be the right answer here. So option C, 1 and 3 should be the right answer for question number 67. Okay, now yeah, this is again a question from the what you call, but there is some catch here. I have one query here. I don't know what UPSC will consider. Let's see which of the following statements with regard to recommendations of the 15th Finance Commission are correct. First is it has recommended grants of 4,800 crores from the year 2022-23 to the year 25-26 for incentivizing states to enhance educational outcome. This is a right statement. If you had studied the report submitted by the Finance Commission recently, this was one of the major and probably the first point of recommendation done by the 15th Finance Commission. Okay, I am not sure of this time period. I am sure of this period. Just have a look at this. But I think this is a right statement. Second, 45% of the net proceeds of the union taxes are to be shared with the states. This is a wrong statement. It is not 45%. It is 41% and not 45%. Okay. Then 45,000 crores are to be kept as performance based incentive for all the states for carrying out agricultural reforms. This is not part of the final recommendations of the Finance Commission. So this can be removed as such. And lastly, it reintroduced the tax effort criteria to reward fiscal performance. It reintroduced the tax effort criteria to reward fiscal performance is a right statement. So according to me, 1 and 4 should be the right answers, but unluckily in the options 1 and 4 is not there. 1, 3 and 4 is there, but this recommendation also I did not find in the report of the what you call Finance Commission. So we have to wait and watch what explanation UPSC gives for this particular question. But according to me, it should be 1 and 4. Both the statements are incorrect here. This is very clearly it is 41% and not 45%. In fact, it was reduced in the 14th Finance Commission only, reduced from 42 to 41. So it maintained that 41%. But this statement I did not find anywhere. If it is there, then the answer becomes 1, 3 and 4. If it is not there, we'll have to wait and watch how UPSC would do the correction here. Okay. Now this is where UPSC at times also falters. Okay. Now, sorry. Now question number after 66, we'll move to question number 65. Yeah. Question number 65, you were talking about here, a country's fiscal deficit stands at rupees 50,000 crores. We know fiscal deficit is equal to total expenditure minus total revenue. Total expenditure minus total revenue. So this is how fiscal deficit we come at. It is receiving 10,000 crores through non-debt creating capital receipts. The country's interest liabilities are 1,500 crores. What is the gross primary deficit? I think the primary deficit should be 48,500. 50,000 crores minus 1,500 crores. The answer should be 48,500 crores. It should be answer A. As simple as that. Okay. Next question number 64. The World Bank warned India that India could become one of the first places where wet bulb temperatures routinely exceed 35%. So this is primarily from the environment and ecology and not from economy. So we will not get into this question. We will leave this question here. Okay, the 63rd and 64 both primarily appear to me as if environment ecology questions. So I will not get into that. Now let's see this question number 61. This is related to economy for sure. Suppose the revenue expenditure is 80,000 crores and the revenue receipts of the government are 60,000 crores. The government budget also shows borrowings of 10,000 crores and interest payments of 6,000 crores. Which of the following statements are correct? So he is giving us the revenue deficit, the fiscal deficit and the primary deficit. So when we know that when we talk about the revenue deficit, we know that the revenue deficit is equal to revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. Expenditure minus the revenue receipt. Then fiscal deficit, as we know, total expenditure minus total receipts, and the primary deficit is equal to physical deficit minus the interest paid. what the interest we pay. So if you go through this, you will come to know that the answer is 1 and 3. The second answer is an incorrect answer. Total expenditure minus total revenue, it should be 20,000 crores and not this. So the answer should be 1 and 3 only. Okay? So this is how the question number 61 is placed in our discussion today. Okay? Now moving ahead, we see question number 62. If you see, this is related to IR. I think I missed on this. One of the questions related to IR, 62nd question. It talks about, it is one of the founding, India is one of the founding members of the INSTC, the International North-South Transport Corridor. We all know it. A multinational transport corridor which will connect what? It is primarily connecting India to Central Asia to Europe via Iran. We know that this has been pending for long time. So the option A straight away is the right answer to this question. Okay. Now coming back to another question on economy. Just give me a second. If we have any more questions left in economy. We'll have to go back to our question number 10 in Indian economy module part. Indian economy question number 10 means we'll have to go back to the main paper. Question number 10. Yeah. Now, see, these are all concepts based questions. Question number 10 reads, capital receipts creates a liability or cause a reduction in the assets of the government. Now they are asking which of the following given statements given above are correct. Capital receipts create a liability or cause a reduction in the assets of the government. Capital receipts create a liability or cause a reduction in the assets of the government. Second statement, borrowings and disinvestment are capital receipts. We know borrowing is not a capital receipt. Disinvestment is a capital receipt without any liability coming with it. Interest received on loans creates a liability to the government. No. Interest received on the loans extended by the government does not create a liability. So this is a wrong statement. So now what has happened? We have two wrong statements, but the question is borrowings and disinvestments are borrowing, right? Okay. So I thought this is basically they are trying to talk about internal borrowings. No, this is also borrowing. In this case, the borrowing will also become a capital receipt here because large amount of money can be borrowed by the government. Okay? Capital receipts create a liability or cause a reduction in the assets of the government. This is also a right statement. So the answer to this question should be 1 and 2, both 1 and 2 above. So this is one answer. Interest received on loans, it does not create a liability to us because it is the earning of the government. So it does not create the liability. So this is a wrong statement here. Okay? Now, question number 9. Circular economy, direct question from the concept related to circular economy. What is the question? Let's see. Circular economy reduces the emission of greenhouse gases. We know that what is circular economy? The output of one process is the input in the other process. So this is how it creates a circular nature of the economy where the output or the byproduct becomes the input in the other processing cycle. So this circular economy reduces the emission of greenhouse gases, though not completely, but yes, largely it does so. Okay. Then circular economy reduces the use of raw materials as inputs. Yes, because as I told you, over a period of time, you do not have to add raw materials after every completion of cycle because the nature of cycle is circular in nature. The need of this particular raw materials is negated over a period of time. So both the statements are correct. and both of them explain the statement 1. So both the statements are correct. We'll come back to circular 3. Statement 3, circular economy reduces wastage in the production process. Obvious reason, as we said, the byproducts and the overall output becomes the input in the next cycle. So obviously statement 3 is also a right answer. So statement 3 and statement 2, both of them support statement 1. So the answer to this question should be answer A. Question number 9 in set A. For the students who have joined us recently, we are dealing set A economy part of explanation in the prelims paper. Okay? Next question is question number 8. What is the matter of question number 8? It says consider the following statement. India accounts for a large number of India accounts for a very large portion of all the equity option contracts traded globally that exhibiting a great boom. Yes, this is a right answer. This was one of the recent reports of SEBI when it spoke about this particular aspect of our Indian this thing, the stock market. India's stock market has grown rapidly in the recent past, even overtaking Hong Kong at some point of time. Yes, this is also a right statement. Very recently, this comparison was drawn between Indian stock market and the Hong Kong stock market. The third question option, there is no regulatory body. This is the wrong answer because we have SEBI, Securities Exchange and Board of India, to warn the small investors about the risk of options trading or to act on unregistered financial advisors in this regard. No, definitely we have SEBI. Time and again, SEBI takes out lot of reports, lot of instructions to the investors and especially the small investors to safeguard them from the dynamics of large platforms playing in the Indian stock market. You would have heard about reporting obligations. You would have heard about what we call them, we had this participatory notes, no? The KYC norms for the participatory notes. All these things were brought in by SEBI to safeguard the small investor itself. So the option 1 and 2 are right. Option 3 is wrong. I mean the third statement is wrong. So from my point of view, the answer should be 1 and 2 only. Then we'll go to question number 7. We'll go to question number 7, which is talking about, question number 7 is talking about consider the following statement. Consider the following statement. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. What is the statement 1 saying? As regards returns from an investment in a company, generally bondholders are considered to be relatively at lower risk than stockholders. Generally, what is the statement? Again, it is from the basic concept. NCERT से direct question उठाया है. So understand what is the statement saying? That the bondholders are relatively at lower risk than the stockholders. It is the right statement because when the liquidation of the company happens, at that time, stockholders are the last to receive any money. So before the stockholders, it is the bondholders who get the money. So the statement that they are relatively at lesser risk than the stockholders is the right statement. Then bondholders are lenders to a company, whereas stockholders are its owners. It is also a right statement because stockholders are basically equity holders and bondholders are basically debt holders. So basically they are lenders to the company and the stockholders are owners of the company. Okay? Now statement 3, for repayment purpose, bondholders are prioritized over the stockholders. I told you at the time of liquidation of the company, the bondholders get preference over the stockholders. So this statement is also right statement. So our answer should be A, both 1, 2 and 3, and both 2 and 3 statement are correct and both of them explain the statement 1 correctly. So both the statements are trying to explain the statement 1 correctly, which is the right answer. Okay. Now, few more questions left. Question number 6 of Indian economy. India has joined as the India has joined the Mineral Security Partnership as a member. The Mineral Security Partnership as a member, India has joined. This is a right statement. India is a resource rich country in all the 30 critical minerals. It is a wrong statement. India is not one of the countries that has been what you call blessed when it comes to critical minerals. So if you see the kind of minerals what China has, the kind of minerals that Myanmar has, in comparison, India does not have, and in all 30, India does not have all 30. If I remember correctly, either 4 or 5 critical minerals which are available in India, and also the what you call, we have still not been able to commercialize the process of processing these extraction of these minerals. And so the second statement is right. The third statement, the Parliament in 2023 has amended the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act 1957, empowering the central government to exclusively auction mining lease and composite license for certain critical minerals. This is a right answer. So the correct answer should be option C, that is 1 and 3 only. So question number 6, the option is 1 and 3 only. Okay. Now, question number 5. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. In India, income from allied agricultural activities like poultry, farming and wool rearing in rural areas is exempted from any tax. So the statement 1 is right, as we know that the allied activities related to agriculture have been exempted from taxation in our country. Okay? Agriculture and allied activities. Then statement number 2, in India, rural agricultural land is not considered a capital asset under the provisions of the Income Tax Act 1961. This is also a right statement. This is also a right statement. But don't get confused in the option. Though independently both the statements are right statements, the statement both 1 and 2 are correct, but the statement 2 does not explain statement 1 according to me. This is a different explanation. This is a different explanation. Independently both the statements are however correct. Okay? Understand this. Next, moving to question number 4. The Reserve Bank of India mandates all the listed companies. The Reserve Bank of India mandates all the listed companies in India to submit a business responsibility and sustainability report. The moment you read the word Reserve Bank of India, you should know that it is a wrong statement. Why? Because Reserve Bank of India has no business with respect to listed companies. It is the responsibility of SEBI. So the first statement is a wrong statement. Next, in India, a company submitting a BRSR makes disclosures in the report that are largely non-financial in nature. This is a right statement. So that is how the option B is the right answer here. So this is where first option say 90% you can come to the right answer here. You can understand that. Now come to the third question, which is technically from what we call internal security, but it has been asked in the domain of economy because they connected the ministries here. So this is where they will try to confuse you. The Directorate of Enforcement of the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act 2018, both are right statements. It works under the Ministry of Home Affairs. It is a wrong statement. It is under the Department of Revenue, under the Ministry of Finance. So this is how the first statement is an incorrect statement. Then comes the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, enforces the provisions of the Customs Act 1962. Again, this is a right statement. This is what it does, and it does come under the Department of Revenue, under the Ministry of Finance. This is a right statement. Then comes the Directorate General of Systems and Data Management, where we talk about it carries out big data analytics basically to assist the tax officers for better policy and nabbing the tax evaders. It is basically a software that creates those blips on the accounts where there is a possible chance of tax evasion. This was added recently on the DG systems and data management. So this is also a right statement. Again, Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. That is why I keep on telling the students in the classroom, do visit these departmental websites of the various ministries so that at times a question can be framed like this to confuse you in the examination hall. Okay, so this is how you need to read through the what you call the websites of the government departments also. Two more questions. Question number 1 we'll do first. With reference to investments, consider the following statements: bonds, hedge funds, stocks, and venture capital. So the question is, how many of the above are treated as alternate investment funds? If you know, these are the alternate investment funds, are something which are not traditional sources of revenue, traditional sources of money generation for the economic activities. So they are called alternate investment funds. We know the stocks and bonds both are part of the traditional investment resources, and hedge funds and the venture capitals are not. So the answer should be only 2 here. Option B should be the right answer according to me. Now, the another important and last question with respect to economy is, which of the following are the sources of income for the Reserve Bank of India? Which of the following are the sources for the Reserve Bank of India? So this is where buying and selling of government bonds, certain amount of what you call leverage the Reserve Bank takes. So there is some amount of money revenue generation for it. Buying and selling of foreign currency, yes, in this also the RBI earns some money. Then pension fund management, it does not get any money. There is no lending to private companies which the RBI does. So this is again a wrong statement. Printing and distribution of currency notes, yes, you may ask how you earn the money. There is something known as signorage, because the value of the money and the cost of printing is different, right? 100 rupees ka value of the note, but the cost of printing may be only 2 rupees or 3 rupees. So 97 rupees is the signorage what the RBI gets. So this is how the printing of currency also gets money to RBI at times. So this is how. So 1, 2 and 5 is the right answer. So the option should be option D here, 1, 2 and 5. So this is all we had from the economy part. As I told in the initial 11:30 when the video started, I told you economy little tricky, few calculations he wanted you to do, but the basic foundations, if somebody's foundations are clear, that person can do these calculations without much difficulty. But if you ask me, the paper was fairly economy part, IR was, yes, thoda, because now what is happening with respect to IR is the UPSC is asking from such a domain. As teachers, we are also worrying what to teach, till what extent to teach to the students, because when you go to the atlas and start asking questions, then there is no end to it. So that is where little challenge comes to the teachers also while teaching the IR as a subject. But few questions from BIMSTEC, BRICS and all, there was some respite which came from the classroom learning. And it was very surprising that not many questions came from internal security and IR this time, though we were expecting, because of the increased tensions all across the globe, we were expecting certain questions coming. But as we all know, UPSC is UPSC. They have their own, way of thinking. So this was what economy, IR and internal security question. I'll hand over the stage to the faculty to take care of the science and technology. Around 15 questions had come from this domain. So I'm sure sir will be able to finish it off maybe another 15-20 minutes. So stay tuned. Do not go off. Take a small break. Maybe have a cup of tea. But do continue to watch this video. Thank you. Jai Hind.
పిల్లలు కూర్చోబెట్టారా
मैं 10-15 मिनट में खत्म करके आ रहा हूँ. So, hello everyone who are live. Hope you have been tired sitting all through this session, guys. Last section migilpoyindi, science and technology. I have prepared the key for it. Let me discuss the particular segment. Question number 41. 41 nunchi science and technology start avutundandi. So I shall be giving you up the key for this particular science and technology. Yeah. Chal. 41st question, if you see, consider the following type of vehicles which we have. Full battery electric vehicles, where you are able to, where you can see in the present context, if full battery electric vehicles వచ్చాయి. Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles ఇవి కూడా చూస్తున్నామండి. Government also started focusing upon this hydrogen fuel cell electric hybrid vehicles. So in this, how many of the above are considered as alternative powertrain vehicles? Obviously all the three, but amount of percentages of their usage and what is the input which is required for that particular segment is different. So within this particular 41st question, all the three options which have been given, they are absolutely right. So coming to this option, C becomes the right option and C becomes the right option. 42nd one, recent ga manam idi kuda chusta unnam news lo, unmanned aerial vehicles, sir. Clear? Unmanned aerial vehicles, consider the following statements regarding with that. So దీనికి all types of UAVs can do vertical landing. All type of UAVs vertical landing చేయలేవు సార్. ఇట్లా vertical landing చేస్తాయి అన్ని. Horizontal landing అవ్వచ్చు, vertical landing అన్ని చేస్తాయి అన్నది తప్పు. All types of UAVs can do automated hovering. See, these are direct types of questions which are like simply a radically segmented questions where they are making it to appear forcefully true. So this is also wrong. All types of UAVs can use battery only as source of power supply. So all the three statements which have been given here, they are absolutely wrong. So D becomes the right option for this. None andi okkasari velli ee unmanned aerial vehicles ani chudandi, newspaper lo constant ga in 2024 if you could see, at least 10 times this particular unmanned aerial vehicles gurinchi news lo ichunnaru. Once go and cross check this particular segment too. Next, coming to 43rd one, in the context of electric vehicle batteries, consider the following statements. Cobalt, graphite, lithium and nickel. In the context of electric vehicle batteries, consider the following statements. How many of the above are usually make up battery cathodes? If you could see, dintlo cobalt, lithium and nickel, all these can be used in this particular electric battery vehicles. Cobalt, lithium and nickel. Recent ga manaki lithium reserves dorkini Jammu Kashmir lo, still commercial exploitation aithe start cheyaledu, dan basis మీద ఇచ్చున్నారు sir. But graphite is not directly used. Rather, this graphite which is there, it is typically used in anode of lithium ion batteries. So directly it is not used. Make up battery cathodes ki kadandi, anodes ki use chestaru idi. So graphite is out here. Only 3 becomes the right option for this. So 43rd one, it becomes a C option andi. C option. 44th one చూద్దాం. ఇది ప్లాస్టిక్ కి సంబంధించిన క్వశ్చన్. సిగరెట్ కాల్చి పడేస్తా ఉంటారు, సిగరెట్ బట్స్ అంటాం వాటిని. సిగరెట్ బట్స్, ఐ గ్లాస్ లెన్సెస్, ఇప్పుడు నేను పెట్టుకునే ఐ గ్లాస్ లెన్సెస్, దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ ద బేసిక్ సైన్స్ ఈస్ సార్. ఇక్కడే ఉంది సైన్స్, ఎక్కడనో లేదు. ఇక్కడ నుంచే క్వశ్చన్ వస్తుంది. మన దాయి సిగరెట్ నుంచి వస్తుంది, పెట్టుకునే గ్లాసుల నుంచి వస్తుంది, మనం నడిపే కార్ టైర్ల నుంచి వస్తుంది. దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ ద జనరల్ సైన్స్ ఆర్ జనరల్ అబ్జర్వేషన్ విచ్ UPSC ఈస్ ఆస్కింగ్. దీంట్లో హౌ మెనీ కంటైన్ ప్లాస్టిక్? కార్ టైర్ అన్డౌటెడ్లీ ప్లాస్టిక్ సార్, లెన్స్ అన్డౌటెడ్లీ ప్లాస్టిక్. సిగరెట్ బట్స్ మీకు డౌట్ వస్తూ ఉండొచ్చు, కానీ దాంట్లో బెంజిన్ ఉంటుంది సార్. ఆ బెంజిన్ ఇన్సర్ట్ చేయాలంటే ప్లాస్టిక్ పెట్టాలి. సో ఆల్ ద 3 ఆప్షన్స్ ఇన్ దిస్ పర్టిక్యులర్ క్వశ్చన్ are absolutely right. Absolute అంటున్నా, absolutely right. Clear? Next one, ఇది కొంచెం tricky sir. Consider the following substances, ఇది కూడా ethanol, nitroglycerin, urea. Coal gasification technology can be used in the production of how many of them? మనకు జనరల్ గా కోల్ గ్యాసిఫికేషన్ ఎందుకు చేస్తారు సార్ అంటే తక్కువ పొల్యూషన్ కావడానికి చేస్తారు సార్. కోల్ విల్ రిలీజ్ ఆల్ ద డిఫరెంట్ గ్యాసెస్ ఇన్ టు ద అట్మాస్ఫియర్ అండ్ యాష్ ఇన్ టు ద అట్మాస్ఫియర్ అండ్ హై మెటాలిక్ కాంపౌండ్స్ ఇన్ టు ద అట్మాస్ఫియర్. దాన్ని తగ్గించడానికి కోల్ గ్యాసిఫికేషన్ యూజ్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. ఎథనాల్ అండ్ యూరియా యూజ్ చేయడానికి టెక్నాలజీ వాడొచ్చు సార్. నైట్రోగ్లిసరిన్ కి ఈ కోల్ గ్యాసిఫికేషన్ టెక్నాలజీ అస్సలు వాడలేం. It can be used in production of only these two, where this nitroglycerin is not made through this particular coal gasification. Here, next 46th one, sir. Dinlo, what is the common, if you could see, characteristics of chemical substances generally known as Cl20, HMX, LLM 105, which are sometimes talked in media? They are explosives used in military weapons, sir. ఇది మనకు జనరల్ గా రీసెంట్ గా జరుగుతున్న డిఫరెంట్ కంట్రీస్ యొక్క మిలిటరీ ఆపరేషన్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో, కంట్రీ యొక్క మిలిటరీ ఆపరేషన్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వాటి బేసిస్ మీద వచ్చినాయి సార్. సో ఆల్ దీస్ త్రీ ఆర్ కామన్లీ యూజ్డ్ ఇన్ ద మిలిటరీ సబ్స్టెన్సెస్ విచ్ ఆర్ దేర్. దిస్ ఇస్ అబ్సల్యూట్లీ రైట్. నెక్స్ట్ వన్ వచ్చేసి 47th వన్ అండి. 47th వన్ ఇది చూడండి. It is expected that Majorana 1 chip will enable quantum computing. Yes, this is true. Majorana 1 chip has been introduced by Amazon Web Services. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. ఈ రెండు కరెక్ట్ అండి. It has been introduced by Amazon Web Services. ఇది తప్పు. So 1 and 3 becomes the right option for this particular 47th question. 1 and 3 becomes the right option, sir. 48th వన్ ఇది కొంచెం చూడండి, మనకు దీని గురించి న్యూస్ లో మెన్షన్ అయ్యి ఉంది, అందుకే ఈ పర్టికులర్ స్టేట్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ క్వశ్చన్ వచ్చింది. విత్ రిఫరెన్స్ టు మోనోక్లోనల్ యాంటీబాడీస్, ఐ థింక్ సో ఇట్ వాజ్ ఇన్ ద మంత్ ఆఫ్ ఫిబ్రవరి. ఇండియన్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ హిందూలో ఇది కాన్స్టెంట్ గా ఉందండి, ఒకసారి చూసుకోండి. మోనోక్లోనల్ యాంటీబాడీస్ ఆఫెన్ మెన్షన్డ్ ఇన్ ద న్యూస్. కన్సిడర్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్. దే ఆర్ మ్యాన్ మేడ్ ప్రోటీన్స్. हाँ भाई, yes, this is true. They stimulate immunological function due to their ability to bind to specific antigens. Yes, they are used in treating viral infections like Nipah virus. हाँ, ఆ వైరస్ స్ప్రెడ్ అవుతా ఉన్నప్పుడే సార్, సమ్వేర్ అరౌండ్ ఫిబ్రవరిలో, ఐ థింక్ సో ఢిల్లీలో అనుకోండి సార్, ఇక్కడ ఢిల్లీ నార్థన్ స్టేట్స్ లో ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఇంకా వింటర్ సీజనే ఉంటది, అక్కడ ఈ వైరస్ ఎక్స్టెన్షన్స్ అవుతున్నాయని ఈ యాంటీ వైరస్ డ్రగ్స్ తీసుకుంటా ఉన్నారు జనాలు. దాంట్లో ఈ మోనోక్లోనల్ యాంటీబాడీ, క్లియర్, ఈ యాంటీబాడీ సెగ్మెంట్ న్యూస్ లో ఉంది ఫిబ్రవరిలో. మీరు హిందూ న్యూస్ పేపర్ కి వెళ్ళి చూస్తే ఈ పర్టికులర్ సెగ్మెంట్ 100% కనిపిస్తుంది సార్, నో డౌట్. సో ఒక్కసారి చూసుకోండి. ఇట్లాంటి కరెంట్ అఫైర్ బేస్డ్ మీదే మాక్సిమం సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ క్వశ్చన్స్ అనేవి వస్తూ ఉంటాయి. ఇది చూడండి 49th వన్ కొంచెం ఇరిటేషన్ చేసేది, వైరస్ బ్యాక్టీరియా ఫంగై, వైరస్ బ్యాక్టీరియా ఫంగై, ये दिमाग खराब करने वाला चीज है. कंसिडर द फॉलोइंग. No virus can survive in the ocean water. Radical statement. No virus can infect bacteria. ये भी वायरल स्टेटमेंट है. ये वायरस का स्टेटमेंट ही वायरल है. No virus can change the cellular transcriptional activity in the host cells. ఇక్కడ ఏమి ఇచ్చినారు సార్? How many of the above given statements are correct? ఏదన్నా కరెక్ట్ అయ్యేలా కనిపిస్తుందా సార్ రాడికల్ స్టేట్మెంట్ లో? No, no, no. None. Team no, team none. None of this is the option which you have to pertain to this particular question. వచ్చిందిరా బై స్టేట్మెంట్ వాళ్ళ క్వశ్చన్ 3 స్టేట్మెంట్. ఇది టైం కన్స్యూమింగ్ సార్, చూద్దాం అప్పటికి. కన్సిడర్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ స్టేట్మెంట్. Activated carbon is a good and an attractive tool to remove pollutants from effluent streams and to remediate contaminants from the various industries. Activated carbon exhibits a large surface area and strong potential for absorbing heavy metals. Activated carbon can be easily synthesized from environmental waste. దీనిలో ఈ రెండు కూడా సార్, ఈ యాక్టివేటెడ్ కార్బన్, ఈ రెండు కూడా దే ఆర్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయినింగ్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ సెగ్మెంట్ ఆఫ్ స్టేట్మెంట్ నెంబర్ 1. దిస్ ఇస్ మై స్టాండ్. కాకపోతే దీనికి ఏదన్నా యూపీఎస్సీ బి అన్న ఇంటర్ప్రిటేషన్ ఇస్తే ఇవ్వచ్చు సార్. నా టేక్ ఆన్ దిస్ మాత్రం ఏ ఆప్షన్ సార్, ఏ ఆప్షన్ ని నేను తీసుకుంటా ఉన్నా. ఓకేనా? నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్ ఏముంది బేటా? 80కి వెళ్ళిపోయింది సార్. మళ్ళీ సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ మధ్యలో అన్ని పాలిటీ ఇవన్నీ క్వశ్చన్లు వచ్చినాయి. 82 క్వశ్చన్. 82 82వ క్వశ్చన్ వచ్చింది మనకి సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ గురించి. అన్ని ఈక్వల్. ఐఎమ్ హ్యాపీ విత్ దిస్ పేపర్. అన్ని ఈక్వల్ గా వచ్చినాయి. స్టూడెంట్ అన్ని ప్రిపేర్ అయిన వాళ్ళు పక్కా దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు రైట్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ సెగ్మెంట్. రేర్ ఎర్త్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఆల్రెడీ నేను జాగ్రఫీలో చెప్పేసిన. ఈ జాగ్రఫీ, ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్, సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ చాలా క్లోజర్ గా ఉంటాయి సార్, ఇంటర్లింక్డ్ విత్ ఈచ్ అదర్. క్లియర్. 82nd వన్ వచ్చేసి Indian Railways have prepared National Rail Plan to create a future-ready railway system by 2028. Yes, ఇది కరెక్ట్. Kavach is an automatic train production system developed in collaboration with Germany. ఇది చెప్పలేము. అయితే ఈ ఇయర్ ఒక్కసారి చూసుకోండి సార్. ఇయర్ నాకు తెలిసి ఏమన్నా అటు ఇటు అయ్యే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది. Kavach system consists of RFID tags fitted on track in the station. ఇదైతే కరెక్ట్. సో ఇక్కడ నాట్ కరెక్ట్ అడిగింది కాబట్టి 1 and 2 ఛాన్సెస్ ఆర్ దర్. ఎందుకంటే 2 ఆప్షన్లు అయితే పిక్ చేసుకోవాలి. 3 ఆబ్వియస్లీ కరెక్ట్ కాబట్టి ఇంకా మిగిలిన 2 ఆప్షన్లు తప్పు అవుతాయి. నాట్ కరెక్ట్ అడిగింది కాబట్టి 1 and 2 బికమ్స్ ద రైట్ ఆప్షన్ ఫర్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ క్వశ్చన్. నెక్స్ట్ 83rd వన్ అగర్ చూడండి సార్. దీంట్లో 83rd వన్, దీనిలో కన్సిడర్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ స్పేస్ మిషన్స్. స్పేస్ మిషన్స్ అనే రెగ్యులర్ గా న్యూస్ లోనే చూస్తామంటాం కదా సార్. సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ క్లాసులలో కూడా మనం చదువుతూ ఉంటాం. స్పేస్ మిషన్స్ ఏవేవి ఉన్నాయి, ఇండియా డిఫెన్స్ మిషన్స్ ఏవేవి ఉన్నాయి, మిలిటరీ మిషన్స్ ఏవి ఉన్నాయి, మిలిటరీ మిషన్స్ ఏవి ఉన్నాయి లిస్ట్. ఇంకా అప్పటికి పేపర్ ప్రిపేర్ అయిపోయి ఉంటుంది సార్ మనకు పెహల్గామ్ అటాక్ అయ్యే వరకు. లేకపోతే ఆ డిఫెన్స్ మిషన్స్, ఆ ఆపరేషన్స్ మీద ఏమన్నా అడుగుతుండేనేమో. మేబీ నెక్స్ట్ రాబోయే ఏదైనా ఎగ్జామ్స్ లో ఆ డిఫెన్స్ మిషన్స్ గురించి అడుగుతారు సార్. Axiom 4, స్పేస్ డెక్స్ అండ్ గగన్యాన్, ఈ మూడు ఇచ్చి how many of the above space missions given above encourage and support microgravity research? See, Gaganyaan never supported microgravity research. It has focused on macrogravity research and it focused on certain events. Chandrayaan, Gaganyaan, ఇట్లా చాలా ఉన్నాయి సార్. ఓన్లీ ఈ 2 మాత్రమే మైక్రోగ్రావిటీకి ఎసెన్షియల్ సార్. దీనికి ఓన్లీ 2 బికమ్స్ ద రైట్ ఆప్షన్ సార్. ఓన్లీ 2. ఎందుకంటే Axiom 4 అండ్ స్పేస్ డెక్స్ ఈ 2 మాత్రమే దే హ్యావ్ సపోర్టెడ్. క్లియర్. స్పెడెక్స్ ఏదైతే ఉందో, స్పెడెక్స్ అండ్ Axiom 4 ఈ 2 గుర్తు పెట్టుకోండి. నెక్స్ట్ 84th వన్ చూడండి సార్. విత్ రిఫరెన్స్ టు ఇండియాస్ డిఫెన్స్ సిస్టమ్, డిఫెన్స్ నుంచి వచ్చింది చూడండి. డిఫెన్స్ నుంచి వచ్చింది. క్లియర్. సో దీంట్లో కన్సిడర్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్ స్టేట్మెంట్స్ రిగార్డింగ్ విత్ ఇండియన్ డిఫెన్స్ ఎయిర్క్రాఫ్ట్ అండ్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్. డార్నెర్ 228 మెరిటైమ్ ప్రోటోకాల్ ఎయిర్క్రాఫ్ట్, ఇది కరెక్టే. IL-76 సూపర్సోనిక్ కాంపాక్ట్ ఎయిర్క్రాఫ్ట్, ఇది తప్పు. C-17 గ్లోబ్ మాస్టర్ 3 మిలిటరీ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ ఎయిర్క్రాఫ్ట్, ఇది కరెక్ట్ అండి. దీనిలో 2 is wrong, ఓన్లీ 2 బికమ్స్ ద రైట్ ఆప్షన్. ఫస్ట్ వన్ ఒకటి, థర్డ్ వన్ ఒకటి కరెక్ట్ అండి, చూసుకోండి దీంట్లో. నెక్స్ట్ 94th వన్కి వెళ్ళిపోయింది సార్ క్వశ్చన్. 94th వన్కి వెళ్ళిపోయింది. వచ్చేసి GPS aided geo augmented navigation Gagan uses a system of ground stations to provide necessary augmentation. Which of the following statements are correct? It is designed to provide additional accuracy and integrity. ఇవి ఆల్రెడీ చెప్పేసి ఉన్నారు. దీనికి 1 and 2 becomes the right option అనుకుంటున్నాం సార్. ఇందాక 1 అన్నారు కానీ 1 and 2 might be a right option. And 95th one, if you see, consider the following statements regarding AI action system. ఇది కూడా దీంట్లో ఆన్సర్ షెల్ బి ఏ. 95th వన్ ఏ ఆప్షన్ వచ్చేస్తుంది సార్. సో హోప్ఫుల్లీ దిస్ పర్టిక్యులర్ సెగ్మెంట్ హ్యాస్ హెల్ప్డ్ యూ. ఆల్మోస్ట్ మాక్సిమం క్వశ్చన్స్ కవర్ చేసినాం సార్. ఒక 4-5 క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమన్నా స్కీమ్స్ రిలేటెడ్ సెగ్మెంట్ లో ఉండిపోయిండొచ్చేమో. బట్ వీ హ్యావ్ ట్రైడ్ అవర్ లెవెల్ బెస్ట్. వెబ్సైట్ లో ఏకమ్ ఐఎస్ అకాడమీ వెబ్సైట్ లో సెట్స్ ప్రకారంగా క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాం. దాని కింద కీ పేపర్ అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాం. సెట్ ఏ మన కీ పేపర్ ఏ, సెట్ బి కీ పేపర్ బి, సెట్ సి, సెట్ డి, ఇట్లా వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు సెట్ ఇట్ మోస్ట్లీ బై tonight, by the end of the day, or most probably by tomorrow. So please, you can go there and download the key, and people who would be watching this particular video later on in the evening, ఎవరైతే ఎగ్జామ్ రాసొచ్చు ఉంటారో కీ చెక్ చేసుకోండి. డోంట్ గెట్ ఫ్రస్ట్రేటెడ్. గెలిచితే సక్సెస్, ఓడిపోతే ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్, రెండు ఇంపార్టెంట్ లైఫ్ లో. ఓడిపోయారన్న భయం పెట్టుకోవద్దు. ఎందుకంటే సి బ్యాటిల్స్ ఆర్ టఫ్, దే ఆర్ టు బి వన్ అండ్ హ్యాండిల్డ్ వెరీ ప్రాపర్లీ. తప్పు చేశారు సరే, సెలెక్ట్ అయినా కాకపోయినా, సెలెక్ట్ అవ్వకపోయినా అసలు డోంట్ ఫాల్ ఇన్ ద డిప్రెషన్ జోన్ ఆర్ డెస్పరేట్ జోన్. We as an Ekam IAS Academy team are with you every time, working all 24/7. The classes at Ekam IAS Academy starts at 5 a.m. in the morning. Laksha classes start out there. Just 999 courses ke magazines, యోజన, కురుక్షేత్ర, ఆన్సర్ రైటింగ్, ఎన్సీఆర్టీ అన్ని నేర్పించడం జరుగుతుంది. మీ అండ్ ఓబ్రే సార్ వుడ్ బి డూయింగ్ దట్ ఎర్లీ మార్నింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. దాన్ని 5 AM క్లబ్ అంటారు. ఒకసారి వెళ్ళి అది చూసి దానిలో రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వండి. June 2 నుంచి ఎవరైతే క్వాలిఫై అవుతా ఉన్నారో ఈ పర్టికులర్ ఎగ్జామ్ ని 90, 85 దాటుతా ఉన్నారు, ఏకమ్ ఐఎస్ అకాడమీ June 2 నుంచి లక్ష స్టార్ట్ చేస్తుంది. ఎవరైతే ఫ్రెషర్స్ ఉన్నారో, వెటరన్స్ ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళందరూ ఆ మార్నింగ్ 5 AM క్లబ్ జాయిన్ కావచ్చు అండి. ఒకవేళ క్వాలిఫై అవుతున్నారు, హింట్ ఆఫ్ పిన్స్ 80 క్రాస్ అవుతుందంటే ఏకమ్ ఐఎస్ అకాడమీలో June 2 నుంచి టెస్ట్ సిరీస్ లాంచ్ అయిపోతున్నాం, అది జాయిన్ అవ్వండి. లేదు డిస్క్వాలిఫై అవుతున్నారంటే మీకు ఒక మెంటర్షిప్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ కూడా ఉంది ఏకమ్ ఐఎస్ అకాడమీలో, పరిశ్రమ్ మెంటర్షిప్. సో వీ హ్యావ్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఆపర్చునిటీస్. కమ్ అండ్ స్పీక్ విత్ అస్, వీ విల్ బి విత్ యూ ఇన్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఐఏఎస్ జర్నీ. మీరు సక్సెస్ అవ్వాలన్నది మా మెయిన్ ఇంటెన్షన్. వీ వర్క్ ఆల్ డే రౌండ్ ఫ్రమ్ మార్నింగ్ 5 to evening 9 just because of your results. So please do support us by sharing this particular video, and any support needed you can come to the institute, you can speak with me, you can speak with Obrai sir too by prior appointment. So come speak with us, we will handle your journey very smoothly, and by making you effective in your preparation, and we will help you in your UPSC journey. Thank you for watching this, all of you. Thank you with patience who have watched all these videos. Share it, like it, subscribe to Ekam IAS Academy channel. We would be coming up with more and more videos. Thank you for being with lot of patience. Thank you. I'll be meeting you very, very soon. So we welcome you guys at Ekam IAS Academy every time. Any help needed, we are there to help you. Thank you. I am signing off. Vijay Kumar, Faculty of Geography. Jai Hind.